of this combo, but I think they do it exceptionally well. I'm really surprised to see that they put Demon One on the Vice instead of the Cypher.
Yeah.
There's a lot more pressure on him, but I think it makes a lot of sense. If you're going into a double duelist comp, it's all about delay.
We've seen a lot of this Waylay play in Growth, for example. We haven't seen it as much, to be honest, on this map of Lotus, especially because Akuman was playing on this Neon instead with his double duelist with Spirit that is constantly on this Euro. So I want to see also how that plays out alongside Demon One with the Vice.
Yeah, well, Demon One never played the Vice before, so here's a debut for him on this team, back on the global stage. What are we waiting for? Mitch and Tom, send us into game.
Thank you, Yinsu. What a game we've got in front of us. A world champion returning to the international stage, to the champion stage, and trying something new. A man who was criticized as he can play Chamber, but what else can he do? Well, today we get to see the Vice, and for DRG, it's not just a question of domination, it's a question of survival. This squad needs to outlive XLG, and continuing on in that upper bracket, one hell of a way to do it. But they're up against a team who we've seen reach the highest of heights this year. T1 with an international under their belt earlier on. They will not be looking to take their foot off the gas here at Champs.
Yeah, that's the thing. They had a huge rise at the beginning of the year. And like many a super team, had a pretty big fall off as well. Now it's whether or not there's a bounce back. Early contact already being taken by DRG. A solid start, hot flash of dreams from Spirit Z1. And while they're already falling back off of it, they love these aggressive starts. They love these front forward plays. Well, Flexin hasn't fallen all the way back. That's going to give an opportunity. DH with a response. Meteor had a chance, but isn't going to be able to capitalize. It's risky.
Yeah, Spirit Z1 took a risk. It almost paid off as well. DH down to 17 HP, but he gets that deep control towards spawn. It could allow a plant, but in fact, it's going to be a full rotation from T1, using their opponent's spawn to wrap around. But where's the target? One player towards the B site, taken down. DH leaves Stacks all alone. A 1 versus 5 for the Fade. And DRG not looking to split too much. We'll see them retake this together. And I love this composition. I think we saw it yesterday as well, just how powerful the Waylay alongside the Yoru can be. And for DRG, that's only going to enable them to double down on what we've already talked about in that aggressive playstyle.
Do you not believe in the Stacks clutch? Talking about comps. This man in a 1 versus 4. And you were right. Maybe you were right. Yeah, no, that was if he gets the first one, I'm a bit more of a believer, but that wasn't very clean.
1v3?
Nah. That first one, if he hits that instantly, I'm in. The second it was like 4 bullets, I'm out.
Well, a solid start coming out from DRG, from Demon One as well. He got the double, but a pistol's a pistol. Let's see when the rifles come out.
This was lovely. Like, this is the thing with this squad, is like, we've already seen it once. With this Yoru combining with Waylay, it's so difficult to play against. It's so you have to be so prepared with this exact composition. And well, I guess the good thing for T1 is they probably have played against it. I imagine they've at least scrimmed a little bit versus their Korean partners over in DRX, but I definitely didn't look prepared for that one. Starting things out on the attack side. Of course, this map, as a choice, it was mentioned by the desk, one that has been played a lot, but recently at least, DRG have had a couple of defeats. And that might be why we've seen the change.
Well, Demon One, another opening for him, but he's stuck in the corner. T1 looking to pressure. Demon One strikes again before eventually falling. Damage from here on out for T1 possible. They look to retrieve the weapon. The Bulldog will be picked up. DH low on ammo, but good enough to take Spirit Z1 down. Akuman, no, cleans up before this gets too spooky. With Flexin on the other side of the map, there will be a weapon lost.
Yeah, it's maybe a little bit more costly than they would have liked, but ultimately not the end of the world coming into things. And I think that's actually the sort of, that was always the interesting talking point coming into this match, what Demon One would be doing. Will he be taking up a more aggressive role? Will he be trying it out maybe on the smokes as he has done in the past? But I like the fact they've done the straight swap, because if you've ever watched this squad when they play regionally, Vukashu a lot of the time is on an island. So you have a guy that maybe can't communicate quite as well with the rest of the team. That's fine. He's going to be an anchor player, as you can see right now.
Full aggression from DRG as expected. It's a bloodbath to start with. Only the first falling from Akuman, but Flexin follows. Nick trying to recover. Stands his ground, Nick! The triple! That's given them a real chance. But the players left only have pistols. Retrieving the weapon is deadly. And Demon One, 1 versus 2. Buzz low. He's got a chance. A great start to the map already, but this would be something else, and they know exactly where he is. A ghost in hand and a full HP Meteor if he swung that door.
He's done that on purpose, though. He knew he'd be giving the game away. He heard the player taking the orb, and it was almost just bait that I'm going to break this, but then I'm going to retreat back and make you start to question where I've gone. And that's exactly what's happened. Buzz currently keeping an eye back towards mid.
Got a rifle.
Sneaks his way past, but Buzz is just tucked in on the corner. Meteor, normally a safe pair of hands, but the information hasn't yet been garnered on where Demon 1 is going. The problem is Buzz, in the meantime, is wrapping back around. So many angles to clear, would have to check his back, and he's going to. He's checked the right angle, puts it into a 1 versus 1 scenario, but the time has been ticking, and Meteor is just patiently waiting. The timing should work out for him as well. It's a nice attempt, but it's T1 now on the board.
Oh, one hell of a try. And there you're getting to see the caliber of Demon 1, a player who we've seen lift that trophy, and for good reason. But this time around, it's too much to ask. Hell of a hold from Nick, though. They were losing players left, right, and center, and he just comes out, Prowler into a double headshot, and he'd already taken down Izu. And regardless of how this one could have been DRG's, it should have been T1's a bit more convincing, especially
100%.
with that start. And that is a costly round coming into the next. If they full invest, they're putting all their credits on the line, and there you go. It's full rifles.
Oh, it's going to be this early fight once again. Already being open, Paranoia had to be used almost immediately, and with the smoke down it would be risky, but Ackerman's gone down elsewhere. An early fight that has worked out for the side of T1. They are facing off against this early brawl, and for the second time it looks like they're coming out on top.
Take a look at that space taken as we got on board with Meteor. He's on the wrap as they go towards the B site. Deep control up towards heaven as Isu takes another flex and going through the doors out of the round. This was the chance for DRG to break that economy of T1, but T1, they're not letting anything slip. Fighting tooth and nail, every duel going their way, till it's Nick and Demon 1. An ult online early for Demon 1. Nick not far away, but committing them, even committing the rifles into this round from this point forward seems like a mistake, and they have called for the save already. The objective now just to carry these weapons forward, give them a chance, and after what was a shaky round 3, this is a great course correction for T1's economy.
Yeah, I think you're always going to have to keep an eye on Meteor in matches like this. You're talking about an MVP player. Of course, the recent memory will put someone like Forsaken, of course, but Meteor is an incredibly tough player to play against. It's seeming, though, like Nick has woken up on the right side of the bed. Aim has been clean. He's made this one a bit more costly, but still going to be taken out by Stacks. And although it's a round that is a little bit more damaging after how it started for T1, they're not going to mind because they removed every single gun.
Yeah, this was really a make or break round for them on the T1 side, and they played like it. Great control from Meteor, and that's a gap that I don't expect to see DRG leave all too many more times. But with the 3 players committed towards that A site and your Vice set up on C, fortunately, it is just a part of the game.
Yeah, a lot of the time you're going to set up aggressively on A and then go back through. Oh, that's a 1-for-5 headshot. You're going to go back through the double door, or the broken door, sorry, to make your way back into B. But if he does it quickly enough, he is already through. And that's a difficult thing that they'll definitely have to focus on.
It's also your broken door player was Akamon, who went in for that info with the refract and got shut down, so then you just lost that ability to go back entirely. There's a hiccup. All right, then. Not sure what he saw. The Spidey sense is tingling. Good start for T1. They've taken down 1 player. They've left Demon 1 low. That ult from Vice not likely to be used, but where do they go from here? There's no stack to run into. That's the good thing. Regardless of where they go, they've got a relatively favorable fight.
Meteor might be in a little bit of trouble here, but he's not going to be the one going first. And while Flexin is left revealed, blind, not quite stunned. Yeah, he's somehow managed to retreat, and that is going to pull a fairly hefty rotation back from the defensive side. The main thing I'm worrying about right now is that clock. 25 seconds to get onto this site, and he held the line at least a little bit longer. Aftershock trying to deny the plant. Another kill for Spirit Z1, but they are on their last legs, tagged up, and he's managed one more. It's the same position, though. for Demon 1. Another 1v2.
Now here's where you start. 60 HP, a Sheriff, but if he pops that ult, he's got a real chance. Low HP on Meteor already. Headshot onto Stax could set him up for success, but Stax gets ahead of the problem. 3-2 locked in for T1. But a surprising round as well in terms of how much DRG got done. They had one player towards the A site. He was up close, he was blinded, he was revealed, he was pushed back by the wall, and still, he makes it out of there, ends up drawing blood. That's damage that shouldn't really have been done. And from there, DRG do a great job to just keep trading out these picks. Again, it's not a round they're likely to win, but it's also not a round they're likely to make close with how it started. So, well, not a bad beginning to this map, but T1 in the lead.
Yeah, and DRG are now actually going to take a relatively early tactical pause. We haven't seen much of them in terms of the buy rounds. It was those first couple, and then not able to get things going after the last two. This will be when they next get back onto the board, and with some fairly hefty ultimates available to play with, you can understand why. The other thing as well is we've talked a lot about this being a map that really likes to be played by one side in DRG 8 times over the last few months with that 50% record. But on the other side of things, although it hasn't been played much, at least a couple of the results I think are quite promising for the side of T1. A dominating victory versus Nongshim with a 10-2 attack side, and then a very close game which they lost in OT to Paperegg. So although you might look at this and go, okay, this is DRG's pick, this is, sure they're coming in with a stand-in, but this is their best opportunity. I don't think that T1 are going to be too worried coming into this map, and especially with the start they've had. I'm getting a little bit worried that if we don't get a response soon from DRG, they might just run away with this.
It's always a fear, and one that could be realized as we get back into the game.
They swapped Demon 1's position.
Soon to go up, and indeed, after that pause, the change up, you look at the ults in play for Demon 1, it's a good stoppage. Having his ultimate to work with. But a deep play by Izu is going to get a lot of information. This space wide open, not being fought for. There's the solo site defender spotted, pressured as well, and Izu shuts Demon 1 down. The A site open for business. And DRG forced into the retake. At least they'll have that rolling thunder to work with, but Meteor is going to be a snake in the grass.
Yeah, this is a nasty position that they need to clear. Nobody coming in from behind. It would just be this firefight. First one goes his way, but the trade is there quick enough. Plenty of ultimates to play with either side, and in fact, T1 will be the first to throw. They're going to put in that ult to try and slow them down. Rolling Thunder on the other side. Convergence path was being set up, but not yet thrown in. Still held, at least for now, but they need to start finding these kills. Buzz with another. Izu one more. And while he might have used his ult, but he'll get one more or back towards it. Nick falls. And that was a very clean round from T1. Much cleaner than any we've seen so far.
Well, in almost every round, DRG have been fighting for that A main space, right? They've been pushing up deep. Even in the round where they had pistols, the Sheriff ended up close to the smoke. So, of course, Izu's going to put the dimensional drift through. But finding that pick onto Demon 1, hell, the information might have been enough. But you add in that kill, and the round spirals out of control. You're on the back foot playing the retake. Meteor able to pick off another on the way through, and that's Izu down.
And you can kind of understand the thought process on the other side as well for DRG that, okay, we've just taken a pause, maybe they try and adapt. Oh, fast-paced play though from Ackerman. Nice setup to clear out Meteor. He has been a burden, but a quick execution. They know they've lost map control. T1 hit into C.
Oh, not a lot to say about this round for DRG. They've got their pistols and they've been at least making it competitive in the start with that deep A play, but once the push comes to shove for T1, they are ruling this battlefield with the rifles in hand. No chance to even the playing field with Demon 1 falling so early, and well, this one done and dusted pretty much as it starts. 5-2. You talked about that snowball. We saw DRG call the timeout to try to stop it, but
it's got worse.
It has. It's looked more dominant since that moment.
I guess the other side of things is it also gives Autumn some time to talk, and it seems like, well, at least the round prior against Guns, it was purely based off they managed to find exactly where Demon 1 was. He's been a one-side anchor. The second he was down, it was a very easy take. This round, you're up against pistols, but it's also just the sheer pace at which T1 are reacting. Confident calls coming out of Stax. And when he's in flow state, it feels like the rest of the team go with him.
Flexen's fallen early. towards that door. It's been a death sentence. The dash used to get back out of that A choke point, and T1 with the early fight towards A main. They're not intending to hit here. Noise made with the door open as Izu tries to distract, puts the decoy through, but the rest of the squad making their way into Demon 1's den. This time, the Vice wall towards B. And although Izu falls and Meteor, they still have this C hit to rely on. The Thorns are going to divide up the troops a little bit, buy some time, maybe buy a 1v1 for Demon 1, but he backs out as Spirit C1 goes through. The trade, at least, DRG holding on to the advantage.
Well, there's the Steel Garden. Weaponry removed, but it's how fast they can actually get in to deal with this. Immediately, Buzz is going to activate the overdrive. Not affected by that ultimate. Now they have the guns with a convergence path. They're going to trap each other in the corner. It needs to be an instant headshot, and well, it is, but not for the side of T1. Ultimate's committed, but it's definitely worth it to stop that snowball. DRG back on the board after 5 in a row. Yeah,
they do a great job here of dealing with Izu towards A, but not overcommitting on the rotates. Obviously, Demon 1 holding down that position. It's why we've seen him in so many of these clutches. He's the last man alive because he's left on the other side of the map to hold his ground. And although he backed off, there was good reason for it. They knew that having that ult online later is worth far more than him standing his ground for a 1v1 and being traded out. And it ends up pretty much securing them alongside Akaman's committal. 5-3, but that's a round where they have ults to respond after side is taken. Now we'll get to see what happens when they don't, and when the Steel Garden's online for Meteor as well.
Again, early control. Buzz been taking this space at a perfect horn thrown through. It makes things so easy. Spirit C1's found 2 though. Oh, just running through. He manages to get a third. A huge round from him individually. Well, the man we've mentioned, that Bangkok MVP, might just get to show us why.
He's got 2 players playing contact off that first. Flex it, takes him down, and if he didn't, it would have to be a lightning fast adjustment onto Nick. 5-4. What a response from DRG. What a response from Spirit C1. These haunts from Stacks have been getting away with so much. It feels like they got extra HP, they're just not being broken. What a spray though, and he steps through the smoke for a bit more. Buzz then trying to reclaim space, reclaim an advantage. With Spirit C1 down, runs straight into Nick, and the round's done. 1 round between them. DRG, they've looked like they're seconds, rounds away from being left in the dust, and yet they're able to come back swinging every time.
Oh, that's gonna be our...
That's our first.
It is our first. That gives us a little bit more time to talk. No, I think for sure. Like, I was definitely getting a little bit worried, but they still have that confidence. I don't think it ever left. Like, how aggressively they're willing to swing. I think Ackerman as well, being able to just put himself in such aggressive positions. But this was all about maybe just a little bit of a late smoke coming in from DH, because they were already fully swinging out on the angle. It drops, and that's just that little bit of extra space given to Spirit Z1, and he takes over the round. I also want to give credit to Nick as well, though. For someone playing a Breach, there's a few players that spring to mind. I think we got Rians coming up later on, who just has that ridiculous aim while playing, that more supportive agent. But it seems like anybody who's walked into this man's crosshair has had a tough day.
Yeah, without a doubt, so far he's been holding his ground. I think we've seen signs of life across the board. DRG, it needs to be built on from here, but you spoke about T1, one of the more recent games, right? Having that strong attack side, the 10-2, it's no longer in play. It's already going to be that closer half, but it's a good time to touch on for DRG. Where are your expectations at as far as their attack side when we swap? What foundation do they need to lay here to build something beautiful?
It's sort of a weird one, because if you go versus BLG, they seem to struggle on their attack, but in their victories, it's normally the attack side that dominates. So thinking back to a few games ago versus XLG, they had an 11-1 attack. I don't expect that again. But normally they have at least an even half or a victory. But that is the same for T1 in other matches. They can still pull it back on the defensive side. I think we're in quite a balanced ground. The only thing will obviously be is how that double duelist is played. And I think when you bring in a Waylay, I expect more on the attack, because you have that dive. I think especially when you know you're coming up against a Vice, having that Waylay, you can get over and through all of that utility and you don't take any damage. We've seen it from Buzz. He tries to like slide through it. You still take a hit.
Yeah.
With Waylay, you don't.
Yeah, and something that we've already touched on in one of the previous games that we had where we saw this exact same comp, and I think it was most evident on Abyss, the fact that you have, or actually most evident on Bind in our previous series, where you have this element to adapt. The Jet, you dive in, you take that space, you're now in there. Same for Neon. You slide into the angle, you're in the angle. There's no getting out for free. But with Waylay, you have the choice to go in, get info, and get out immediately. You have the choice to go in, get info, and commit, or we've seen a bunch of times now, it's so disruptive when they dive through, throw the stun back, and then refract. It's like this stun just comes out of nowhere, unpunishable, and that player is dead to rights.
Especially with a Yoru, because that I think my favorite thing yesterday was when you then had the second layer of you've gone, okay, I think I finally dealt with Waylay, and you turn around and Yoru's just like, hello. Yeah. Like, I've been behind you the entire time. So I think that the combinations on attack get me that little bit more excited. I think right now it's about if DRG can get enough rounds on the defense, I will be confident that they can close this out, even if we end up like even.
Yeah. And I think looking at their defense as well, talking about the buff that this gives them in terms of that A main aggression, you think about bringing a Raze into this map. I think for most people, what will be the most conventional and historic A hold. When you're playing aggressive like that, you're throwing your nade down early, and now you have to hold that space and fight with it. Whereas, again, with the Waylay, you have this ability to play aggressive early if you want to. We've seen how the util dump works, but also the ability to get out of there after. And with it being Omen, who's typically aggroing alongside you, you have the ability to cancel any of those aggressive plays if they're overcommitting. For T1, that means it's difficult to crack the code of initial aggression, and even when you do, it's difficult to capitalize by finding picks. If the Raze is pushed up and you figure it out and you punish, you're a man or two advantage. Not the case here necessarily, with DRG having a deep tool belt to fall back on. I really like this composition. I think it's growing on me game by game.
Yeah, I think I was somewhat convinced when watching DRX yesterday. Well, we're right back into the action. Again, some early control, and this time, Flexen's been caught trying to push up. A lot of these openers have been going well. Now there is going to be this time the Sheer ready and waiting, and that will leave Buzz. I was going to say isolated, but luckily DH got ahead of it.
Yeah, two players in, enough of the angles covered. Door almost broken, Buzz in the corner. Akuman's got a decision ahead of him, and now the information is there. Spirit C1, door is broken for him. He goes back to play with his teammate. Two on that angle. Buzz needs to be patient. Dodges the foe, doesn't dodge the flash. He eats it, and Akuman and Spirit feed him some bullets alongside. Stacks. He'll only get himself the double. Damn good hold, but it's Demon 1 back in there behind to take the 5-5 scoreline, neck and neck.
Yeah, it's been some real fight backs in a lot of these rounds. Like I'm thinking the last few that have been won by DRG, it's still T1 getting the opener. This early battle that, again, you have the attempted TP through, and it is just patiently watched for. Again, another great haunt coming out from Stacks. But then again, it's a fight back. I think Izu ends up getting lost over on that backside. He gets caught out by Nick, who once more has a high impact round. And then they just get swarmed on, not having that control anymore. His position was so much more valuable than the fight that was taken. And while from a 5-2 lead, and things looking pretty bad for DRG, it's again.
Oh, man!
Flexen's cursed.
Flexen's been having a really tough time, but that kill I can't even fault him for. Buzz is in there! Spraying down Nick! The spray and slide, okay. We're right back to T1 with dominant rounds. They've given DRG a little bit of slack, but oh, hold on, Spirit C1, we've seen this before. Only the one damage onto Stacks, but it's not going to make it too easy for Demon 1. Look at the economy. Akuman could need a drop in the next round, and I think the thought will be to carry this weapon through rather than throw it away on a 1 versus 4. The other problem is there's lots of ultimates for T1, and having those online, if you could bait some out here, would be incredibly valuable. But again, it's just a risk reward that DRG and Demon 1 are facing.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think I ever want to see a team again where Stacks and Buzz aren't on the same squad. So we had to deal with that for a little while, and the amount of just like sheer confidence that Buzz has running through things when his teammate's putting up utility. Like, there have been so many rounds where he has got an opener because a Haunt has caught someone over on DRG, they can't do anything about it, and Buzz has an easy kill. This one, not so much. He just had the read on where that player has been for a few rounds and gets him with the spam. But you could just see the level of confidence that Buzz is playing with right now, and well, it almost feels like a, I'm not losing this half, I'll win this one myself sort of vibe.
Winning the half at 7-5. Certainly looked like it would be a more dominant scoreline, but even that is...
This is... He's seen an arm.
Yeah, I thought it was straight through the smoke. Seeing the arm there is just like, I really feel for Flexen. I don't have the stats on opening duels, but I don't think they're going to look pretty for him.
He was flexing so much his arm went through the smoke.
Yeah, that could be it. And hit with the Joker Serum. 1 round left to play for. Deep play from Izu. But he's wrapping around on B. Spirit C1's going to be dropped in the B side, seen to be wide open. Across this wall together. Early on, though, Akaman thinking about getting aggressive, but pushed back by the Fade Ultimate, standing on the edge of the smoke, thinking about coming through, and he does, just to refract this Demon 1, loses in the 1-to-1 trade. They might think C is wide open now. The adjustment being made by T1. They'll close in, and with DH, he's heard the TP, he's got the timing, and it's a free pick back to a 2v2.
That's such an important kill. The youngster from the T1 Academy who has started to light up the world just as many young players from Pacific have done. But now he sits alongside and he's given the info over. Buzz now knows that they are sat at the back, but it's whether or not they're expecting this Rolling Thunder to come through. It doesn't seem like he's going to pop the ult, but he's already been wrecked. It's left onto DH and they know exactly where he is. Needs to try and deliver the clutch, and he has managed to put it back into the 1 versus 1. The swing coming out from Nick, who's been so good, but playing with his food, just trying to bait him into these fights, and DH will take it! Handing them the L with the Red Bull clutch.
A masterful play in that 1v2. After the initial pick is taken, he is just running the clock down. Well played from DH. And T1 will lead by 2 as we go into the halftime break. Welcome back as we get into our Coinbase Econ report. I'm excited to see who's going to be highlighted. This was a scrappy first half, Tom.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be looking at Nick, and I honestly don't mind it. The guy has definitely been causing some serious issues, and it seems like he's been causing them for Izu, who's an absolute nightmare. And a lot of that is him being left alone on those lurks. And I think it's been so important for Nick to be able to sort of pick off that one player so that in their retakes they're not getting backstabbed.
Apparently he's bought 1 Vandal and 3 shorties, fair enough. And dropped over a lot, I suppose. As DRG trail by 2 when we get back into the game. This is going to be an important pistol round, I think. We've already said we expect a good attack side and it to be only, or even better than what we've seen before. Now that they're bringing in this Waylay alongside the Yoru. How they use it, well, that's very much up to them. One thing I'm looking forward to is Flexen having a bit less pressure towards A-main.
Yeah.
He was being picked off so often through smokes, getting hit by those stack deals as well.
He's set up right outside A main.
It's making me worried. I'm getting nervous.
Although saying that, on the other side of things, it's only Izu who's going to go peeking, and that didn't, I'll be honest with you, it didn't seem like the play. It was just, I assume he had a way out of there. I was hoping to. Demon 1, alive and well, it seems, but he will be dealt with by DH. The problem, for T1 at least, is that A site has fallen.
Yeah, we're talking about double the numbers now. For DRG, they've got the man advantage and then some. They've got the plant, they've got time ticking away on their side. Meteor, if he came through that smoke, 2 players holding him. Has to cover his bases and clear out the rest. DH, this paranoia is good. It's gonna catch a player up close. What a shot! Akaman dropped, but time. He's bought a little bit of it with that stun. And now the spike is really starting to tick fast. They need to make a move. Meteor and DH. It's Meteor through the door to be shut down. The trade was possible and it won't be needed with Nick landing that shot to close out the pistol. 6-7. DRG just 1 behind.
Yeah, I like the fact that Nick in that scenario doesn't give anything away. Like, safe pair of hands. He just sits behind the box, lets his 2 teammates go and challenge towards the revolving door, and just basically sits in the corner, so nobody expects him to be there at the end. Solid round coming out for DRG, and an important one at that. As said, I think there's a good opportunity for them building into this. And one thing I want to sort of point out for T1 is, obviously in a lot of these cases, you're going to have Demon 1 on those lurks. I wonder if that's someone they try and target.
Well, has to be said, Demon 1 having a hell of a game. It's been 5 months almost since we saw him play. And that's only at the regional stage over in North Americas. And look at him now, last second substitute coming through, and he's delivering on a role that we've never seen him play an official on. But Flexen's gone down in A main. The story of the game, this time to a classic on range. Right there. That's a tough loss early on, but they will punish it pretty heavily.
It's a loss they're used to dealing with.
Yeah, but on the defense, it's a different story attacking without this.
You know, they're playing at range. They don't mind if someone peeks them while they've got the rifles out.
Paranoia is
I would
overrated.
say it's not, yeah, it probably won't affect. There you go, it's all fine. They didn't need him anyway. Hopefully in the next few rounds it won't keep happening, but in this case, it's not too bad. For Meteor, any damage would be nice, but it's not going to happen. A very clean round other than flexing, and they'll be able to come back in with a pretty solid bonus in the next round.
Man, when he goes to sleep tonight, he's just going to see A main on Lotus every time.
That's so absurd. That's a wallbang classic headshot that killed him there. That probably did about 5 damage.
Yeah, that one's going to sting for sure. But
I think all of them.
Oh, yeah. I think it's compounding. It's like a toxin.
My life on Lotus flashed before my eyes.
It's a short life, at least, from what we've seen.
Yeah,
7-7.
11 times.
DRG tying it up. Decent round in the previous. Good economy. Isu playing aggressive. He'll grab himself the first. Sticks around after the flash. He sticks around a bit too long. The punish is there. T1 start to shift towards this side of the map.
He seems to be allergic to his gate crash. Like most of the time, you're going to see Yoru go out, get a kill, and escape. Especially when your teammate has fallen back. He wants to stick around too much, and in cases where your opponents have weaknesses in their buy, you can't afford to be doing that. Like, these risks are just not worth it. He's 10 and 13 at the moment. If he was lighting up the server, I could understand, but that now gives an upgrade over to the other side. 4 rifles now in play. And well, they've even lost some of their utility on the B side, that they have to be a lot more careful.
That's a very important piece of utility. Questions in the back of the minds of DRG. There's the gate crash taken for Spirit Z1. In the smoke early, got ahead of Stacks, but doesn't catch Meteor coming out.
Spike down.
It's down to a 2v2 with Nick's trade. The spike still needs to be planted, but they've got 30 seconds to do so. I believe it's down below, so a little bit of a reroute from Demon 1, but those Thorns should buy them time. Pressure's on Nick when they fade. 2 players coming his way, and it'll be Buzz sliding through again. It's tough to track this man. The flash set up. Demon 1 in another clutch, and even blinded, he'll find the first. The Buzz, the savior of this round for T1. It's close. but they'll maintain their lead.
Playing against Buzz's Neon is just a nightmare. Like, the movement that he has is just absurd. Like, even if you get the drop on him, it doesn't feel like it. Well, definitely an opportunity here. As a bonus round goes, it's definitely not bad, but I do feel like, especially in moments like that, they're going to feel a little bit hard done by that they don't manage to take that round home. Nonetheless, you'll see in a moment what damage has already been done to the T1 economy, and on the other side of things, Nick coming in with a Rolling Thunder. This could be an immediate response from DRG.
Cover going out. Yeah, we talked about how direct they like to play on the defensive side. Well, you got a Rolling Thunder online. Rifle's just about bought up. This is your time to play that aggressive role. Love that bait. That's beautiful. The refract from Ackerman. We talked about the ability to just get out of those deeper angles. This time the dash not used. Instead, gets rid of that paranoia, burns up Util, and confirms that there was a heavier stack on that side of the map. But after T1 re-cleared the space, they're on the rotate, moving towards this A site where Meteor was left to solo hold, where they were giving up control towards the tree, but now they'll be 3-man stacked up. But they're not here ahead of the push, and Izu goes down alongside Stacks. Ackerman was third. And T1, they had to rotate. They were here a little bit late, but now they're out of the round. This might have to be a save.
Yeah, I was thinking a lot of what we saw in the defensive half was Ackerman being a one and done. Like, he'd fly in, get a kill, die, and that would be it. Not this round. He's now put himself up right near the top of the board, but there's a lot of contention for that on the DRG side. So many top-level performers for this squad. And I said the danger for T1. The only player surviving in the last round was Buzz. They have no choice but to save. And even if they do save, a full buy in the next round, very unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the credits there on the players who've lost their life in that early fight towards A. It's not looking pretty. They'll have to piece this together. This could be DRG taking the lead, stealing it out from under T1. What an incredibly competitive game we've had so far for DRG. Coming in as an Ascension team, the stakes couldn't be higher. As we said, it's not just about lifting a trophy, about making a deep run, making a name for your org, winning your first map for DRG on the international stage, but most importantly, it's about defending your spot in VCT, about not having to go to Ascension, sending XLG, who are already in the lower bracket. I believe it's Sentinels they're going to play. There's a good chance they go out early, and even that one win for DRG could put them above XLG and avoid Ascension.
Honestly,
hell of a way to do it if it's over T1.
Even if it's not based on him individually, there's a lot of good performers. If Demon One comes in and even helps them win a match, he's going to go down in history in DRG for one of the people that helped keep them in the league. Like, it's so important because, as we've seen many a time, nothing is guaranteed at Ascension. You could be the best team for the entire year, but you have a bad couple of days, and that is already over. It is always a brutal format. And with the pressure of being one of those teams dropping down, you're expected to be better than the teams in the Tier 2, and that is not always the case. I think G2 have proven that in Americas for quite a while now.
Oh, this is it. The T1 on the other side, you think back to Bangkok. You saw them lift the trophy.
Yeah.
And definitely, in terms of opening up this group, in terms of opening up champs, you don't want to see them go down early if you're a T1 fan, but especially to a team from Ascension, especially to a team who've made a last-minute substitute of bringing in one of the best chamber players
and lost one of their best players.
Lost one of their best and put in a man who's never played Vice before. But with Ackerman opening up this round, one of the rifles, DH is down. And is it retrievable? It might be stuck on top of the box. That's disastrous if so, leaving Buzz as the only man holding a big gun. They're on the rotate to the C site. Izu and DH already lost. And a lot of the stopping power that you'll see in a buy round doesn't exist here. Okay, the rifle did fall. Thank you, Jack. Not Jack, I'm so used to MEA.
Just give him credit. Why not?
Yeah, thanks, Jack.
Oh, it's a bold play from Buzz. At this point, you can understand wanting to try and put the world on his back, but a chance for Meteor. Always one of the best with the pistols, but this is definitely a tough ask, and he's the last man standing. Flexing, there he is. Able to get himself a couple. DRG, after what was an incredibly slow start to this game, 5-2 down, now find themselves in the lead on that attack side. And I'll be honest with you, I'm yet to really see much on this defensive side that makes me think the T1 are going to be able to turn this around. It's been fairly comfortable for DRG in the second half.
Yeah. Correct myself. Shout out to Ty, our third-person observer, for this matchup here.
Oh,
always does a great job.
They've headbutted each other.
He's already come in, smacked the player straight in the head, but not with the rifle. Easy down, but DH is delivering. He's found himself a triple before eventually falling. Stax was there, but Demon One deals with him. A shaky start for T1. DH put them right back on winning track, but now it's Meteor, a man who's received his MVP, his acknowledgement on the international scene. Well, he has to take down one of the best at a time.
No, that TP was so risky.
Giving it away. Demon One against Meteor for the round, for the 10th round for DRG. A nail in the coffin if they lose this for T1. And time being bought, Demon One can reposition, but now Meteor's gonna do the same, and there's no escape. Demon One caught by the ultimate, down to the Sheriff, but he's got the positional advantage. Meteor out of the round. T1 down by 2.
Spirit C1 gave me an absolute heart attack there. Clears so many different positions around the A site, but then gambles on his gate crash, and that gamble was definitely not worth it. Almost handed the round over. DH at the beginning, it feels like a lifetime ago, the amount of work that he was able to do. And yeah, just a silly mistake, but luckily, Demon One, top of the server right now, has been a safe pair of hands. Definitely seeming like the stand-in of the century so far. And while Meteor, sure, not a whole lot in this round, but dead within seconds.
The Bucky can be dangerous, but not on a peak like that. Demon One spoon-fed that pick. Can DH recover? Oh, he's going to let him fade away on the side. Izu, classic in hand. He's good for one. Done well. Stax at least finding another, but it's not enough in a round like this. The man left. DH, Stinger in hand. A flank that they don't expect. Remember, they held onto that space towards A-Long for a long time. I don't think they heard that weapon be picked up. He's dodged the flash. This timing could be perfect, but Demon One's there to greet him. And even if he wasn't, Spirit Z1 should have cleaned up. 11 on the board. DRG, the underdog coming into this in most people's minds. Looking at T1's performance, looking at the substitute they've had to make, looking at the role for Demon One. They're close to taking this now.
This is the thing, I almost wonder, and it might sound ridiculous, but like Demon One going into Bukashu's role of basically, it's much more simple in the aspect of like, we need you to hold this side of the map while we directly hit somewhere. You don't need to focus on setting up utility, or like when, for example, when he plays smokes, like putting smokes into position. There's no real reason for him to be caught without his gun, and you put this guy just to frag. Well, he's 18-9. He is the top fragger in the whole server right now. It's looking very, very good. I'm sure there's some doubters or hate watchers sat there at home like, no, this is meant to be bad. Well, he's playing in a one trick. He's playing in the Chinese #2 team. He can't be the top fragger in the server. So unsuccessful hate watch so far, I'm sure, for many. But for Demon One, it's got to be an absolute field day, a return to form. And T1, well, they've hit the panic button. You're 11-8 down. You're up against a team with a stand-in. I also just want to add the context of the rest of the group. The other two teams are G2 and Heretics. Obviously, Heretics went on a crazy run last year. Had a bit of a rough patch as of recent. And G2, I don't think they broke a sweat at all in winning Americas. In fact, they subbed in Baby Bay and made him look good.
I'd say he made himself look good, Tom. He's a good player.
Out of the server or in the server?
A little bit of both.
Okay. Out of the server, I agree. No.
You're joking. I'll let him know. I'll let him know what you said. Well, 11-8, and this Could very well be the end of T1 if they lose this round, at least in this map. Their pick Sunset up next, so it's not all dire signs. But it is definitely a time to be worried if you're from Pacific. Full clearance of this site with that command, but a big shutdown. T1 playing outside of it, setting the trap and springing it just on time. Nick with a double makes this look a bit more doable. The op of Izu on the way, but still miles away. Buzz injects himself onto the site. A chance for him to be isolated, but now the rotates are here. Now the ult's in play. Buzz's swing is perfect. Izu's clearing everything, and they will find this round a much-needed win for T1.
Yeah, I am surprised, though, with that advantage that we see both the Nightfall and the Dimensional Drift go through. Like, they were clearly very worried that that round could turn on its head, and honestly, with how some of them have gone, I can kind of understand why. Solid openers from DH and Meteor, and I'll be honest, it's another scenario again where I remember seeing Charon added into Gen G and going, oh, that's someone I don't know very much about. There's this young sort of like ranked player who has been thrown in from the T1 Academy. He has been their best player, and I think maybe you could make an argument for Buzz. I don't think you can make an argument for anyone else.
Oh, Ackerman. He's taking the space yet again. He could fall back, but he doesn't need to. Spirit C1's alongside him. Full control of B site, but it looks like T1 want to fight for it. A delay towards Hobbit. They'll have to wait a moment now with that stun landing, and that's going to get the plant out for DRG. Man advantage for the attackers, but that fades quickly. Nice shot by Izu. Here comes DH and Meteor. The full wrath of T1 unleashed, and no one standing but Nick. Three more! He's already got two, but that op is holding tight on the angle. Another round for T1. Just one away now. This is a hell of an opening map.
Yeah, it looks like they've moved much more towards a retake setup. Like, a lot of those early fights have not been working for them. The risky plays early in the round haven't been paying off. So instead, okay, they lose a man, but then it's just about boxing the players in, not allowing them to have these fast flanks, and then fighting as a team. And if you think back to like the old school Vision Strikers DRX that was run by Stack, they were the best in the world at retaking. They were the best at having a setup, having utility put into play, sending in Buzz or sending in Izu in this case, and it works out for them. So I'm glad that that's the adaptation they've made. Now DRG aren't just going to sit there and let this game slip away. They've got to pause themselves.
Well, I think this is it. You know, at the start from DRG, you have this very oppressive opening duel ability. You fire in your utility, you take that space, and the idea is a lot of the time you're going to be able to punish somebody who's out of position. This is what we saw from this comp up against Team Liquid as well. But once that team starts to play in a way that they're not getting caught by it, they're letting you have the space and fighting for it afterwards. Like you said, that's what T1 are doing here. You need to find that second layer. The thing is, with this composition, you have so many tools on your belt to play with. It's not a...
And ults are building.
There, absolutely. You've got that as well to fall back on, those safety nets that we often talk about, but it's not a composition that only works with one approach. That's why I think it's so valuable. 20 seconds left before the round starts. That op of Izu seems to be putting up a lot of value when it comes to these retakes, because for DRG, taking the space, not having a fight, they have to choose where they battle. And a lot of the time, when they go to swing into that angle to take that little bit of extra control, Izu's waiting there with the op in hand.
Time to jump.
Well, the other thing on the brink for the attack side here is going to be that economy. T1 take this round, and they might even be able to extend into the lead off of it. Again, you see these passive angles being held. The operator brought in for Izu once more just to passively hold A. An already massive group up from the defense on this B site. And elsewhere, just got DH. Jiggle peeking, but has now been smoked off.
Much more defaulty from DRG. Ackerman looking for the fight, spots one and gets out immediately.
I'll handle this.
But eventually they will group up. They had Demon Worm waiting outside of A, but the C site, this is where the hit's coming through. Stun, it's perfect. The TP used, but it doesn't get DH to safety. Spirit C1 still able to pick him up. And now they've got control over C, but it's being fought for. Meteor stepped through the smoke. In comes Buzz. The stun landed, but Ackerman gets ahead of it. Flexing from up top. And DRG in a 5v1 all of a sudden. A lot of talk about Izu's operator. How it started to put him on the board. Put him in the kill feed on the right side of it too, but He'll hope that he's not appearing in that kill feed at all in this round. A save is called, and DRG, as a result, on 12 with 2 chances to close out their map pick here. For a team that came in with a substitute and a man who hasn't played Vice before and an official, they are looking sublime.
Yeah, I think also just this round was a much more deep commitment for T1. What we saw in their last C-site hold was they were both sat back, waiting, one holding onto the cross to try and fight anybody as they dived in. I think DH gets caught there. Like, they use the Dimensional Drift, spot him, hit him with the stun, and there's no real way out. Izu, he's surely dead. No way he comes out of that one alive, but at least manages the one. And this leaves them in quite a bit of trouble. I think both pauses already gone, but more importantly, they are going into what could be the last round of the map with, well, I'd say a stinky buy.
Yeah, it depends where they settle on their investment, but I think no matter what, there will be big weaknesses for T1. And yeah, you know, you got rid of the Rolling Thunder. Dimensional Drift from Spirit Z1, fantastic. DRG don't have as much of a punch to pack in this round in terms of those safety nets, but let's see what T1 can do with this mixed bag. Izu's got one. Buzz on the Bucky finds another in this round. Off to a flying start for T1. We thought they'd look weaker, but somehow it's like the cleanest start they've had.
Yeah, it started so weird. Ackerman flying over most of his enemies and then getting caught out, surprised by Izu. A pretty hefty upgrade as well for Barzamon. Nick, he's as optimistic. With the spike down, a 1v5. I think you'd need the Devil himself to show up to be able to eliminate the rest of these players. I don't think it's going to be happening. And even just damage here might help them out a bit. Instead, though, it's a flawless round. Buzz there to close it, and when T1 looked like they were dead and buried, they find a round.
Even in the end of the round, another delivery from Stax' reveal. The Hans have been huge, and at the start, plays a similar role. Giving them that info. Target selection for Buzz was easy as a result. And as you said, the fact that Izu's able to get away with that is ridiculous. Great fight, and as well, this is the round that should have seen T1 fade into obscurity. Now, they fight on an even playing field against DRG for the final round of regulation. Overtime possible. For DRG, they're competing for their organization's first win on the international stage. Losing this, it'll be much harder.
Oh, already a solid start. Buzz has been dealt with. Stax and Meteor, though, fight back in turn. Stax wanting to get back in there, but he's got to be careful. Low HP. Demon 1 being revealed. Only has the shorty to play with, but now he gets his own. Looks to take him back. Izu, though, is fought in form. They have matched each other man for man. Even still, though.
Demon 1 at spike.
Yeah, look at the position of the spike, getting it back. Is he going to be able to block this? No, it takes more than one to do so, so that's at least the spike back into their hands. I am looking, however, at DH. He's making that read early that this team might just try a move for the A site.
Thing is, though, they're in this 3v2. Playing the retake could have a lot of value. For DH, he has to be very selective about where and when he fights.
30
already
seconds left.
Drop down towards the A site. DRG, they might go to C, though. Making their mind up as we speak. They know they've already taken out the Vice on the other side with Meteor's utility gone, but it will be the A side that's the ultimate target. A sneaky play here from DH, but it all comes down to timing. Nick is walking up on him, but they've decided to leave him. 10 seconds. The plant has to be secured. DH, if he can just drop this spike, it could all be over here, and it's a little late. The spike gets planted, but Nick is left alone. If he doesn't find this pick, they will overwhelm him with numbers, and DH slips away to the tree. Nick against the world. He's had so many big plays. The decoy reveals him. Oh! The double! He collapsed it, but in the end, it's DH taking this across the line, bringing T1 into an overtime, giving them a chance to deny DRG on a map where they've looked beautiful.
What an absolute mad round. Both teams kicking things off with a steel garden, Shorty being the gun of the round, and Nick, well, that was one hell of a try. He was actually stuck in place by a seize that was thrown by a stack, so he gets those first two, probably wants to try and move in that direction, but isn't able to reposition. And DH, once again, spoken about this youngster coming into the squad, replacing a member who helped bring home a Masters trophy. And right now, he is the best player in the server.
Well, overtime for DRG. They had the lead, they had the chance to close it, but now T1 could be right back to winning ways. On the attack side, our T1, but look at this stack up from DRG. There's 4 players here. Previously, we've seen them fight tooth and nail for A, and T1 have been keen to take that space when it's given, but now it's a trap that's sprung, flex him through the door, grabs one before falling. The numbers even. But it's Nick with the pressure on his shoulders again. This time he delivers, but the slide in from Buzz, punished for the 2 versus 1. DH reads that that's the decoy. He might have to jump on Spirits. He won a 3rd kill. And the TP taken to the other side of the map. A plant and a 1v1. How many clutches has Demon 1v in? But this one, the most important of all.
TP up top. They open the door. So Demon 1 has tried to bait the idea that he is coming from this position, but I feel like it's going to take him so long to go all the way back around. And once that smoke fades, DH will have the idea that this man is no longer in position. In fact, it's such an obscure angle. I don't even know if Demon 1 will expect this at all. And the problem is now that clock is starting to tick, the doubt starting to be in his mind. DH has played it to perfection again. Where have they found this man? A Red Bull clutch to give T1 a shot at map victory.
And don't get me wrong, DH has been playing the game all throughout regulation, but these last 2 rounds, he has hit another level entirely. What a play in the 1v2. Catches both players completely off guard. And a 4K to deliver T1 the lead. 1 round left. They were trailing 12-10 with weak weapons, a Bucky in play, a mixed bag across the board, and they came back in with a dominant win. But DH for 2, giving them the lead, and with a timeout for DRG, the team that looked set to close out this map. It's the set history for the org. Well, now they've got to climb back into the game.
It is funny to think that while we talk about Demon 1 not really playing for the last few months, when he was last playing, it was at least in the Tier 1 over in Americas. For DH, this is a guy who is playing in the Tier 2, and this is his first map on an international stage. I don't know if they're building these like young players in a lab. Like Caron felt like it was just cheating to have someone that good. DH now feels exactly the same, but 27-16. He is dragging players like Meteor, Buzz, Stacks, Izu, people who've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, to potentially the first map, but boy, might just have to do it again. Buzz, within the first seconds of the round, is dead.
Ackerman's been so impressive in those opening duels, dashing in. We've seen him do it not that many rounds ago when DRG were on the attack.
Cover going out.
But with that, it looks like they'll still commit to this A site. Demon 1 holding the flank. This could be a mistake. There's so many players here. Stacks traded out. DH gonna burn the paranoia just to deny the space, slow them down.
Well, look at the rotation. Everybody's already here.
Do they call for the rotate back? It looks like they will, but the Op's now in position. Holding that cross, Flexen's got him! Finding strength in the scars he's been dealt on A main. But they'll still move towards this site. And the numbers are still here for T1, at least they were.
Yeah. Well, maybe the only one that really matters is still here. He would basically win them overtime if he can somehow hold on to this 35 seconds, and decisions are there to be made. Meteor has left his team. I'm surprised they're splitting up. I'm surprised that's the decision. And while this time DH can't save them, Ackerman will put him in the dirt, and Meteor so far away. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think the best case they had was to try and fight it as 2. Now he has to find a 1v4.
There's chances. Now that he's being spotted, looking pretty bad. There goes the ultimate on him. Ooh. Okay, Ackerman will fall, but the spam's through the wall. Even us up to 13-13. Another overtime needed. And for DRG, those opening picks on the attack from Ackerman there.
Gross.
They are everything for this squad.
Well, this is like, when I go back to the critique I had of Izu in the defensive half, that's what I'm expecting to see. Like, you get in, get a kill, get out. He has no interest of like trying to double down, try and be a hero of the round. He's just get the opener and escape. And that's where I think Ackerman has truly been a force to be reckoned with. Now into that defensive round once again, and it's the same brawl over on A.
There.
Yeah, T1 though, they sit behind Rubble patiently. Still those 4 players towards this site. T1 making a quick read again. They're giving up that space. What happened last time? It was a trap play with a lot of players in position. Expecting the same here. And although Izu stuck around, he has that gate crash used early this time. Won't make the mistake he did in regulation of giving them the picks. Now Thorns slow this push down. Give a chance for the rotations. Demon 1 won't fall for that spot again. But now they're closing in the distance. Well played to find the first. Spirit C1 from the back lines, delivering again. And a 3 versus 2. The defensive round looking likely, but with Ackerman down, we're back to a 2v2, and T1 have got a plant.
Putting themselves in a position to turn this round on its head, have another chance at claiming the victory on their opponent's choice, but Flexin and Nick have an opportunity. The flash is going to slow them down even more. The aftershock not quite finding anything, but even still, it has cleared an angle, it has checked the spot, but that time is ticking. They need to get a move on. First contact in, Izu gets 1 and it is close. But Meteor will make sure that they're the ones that get another chance at victory.
Another match point for DRG. Last time it was a timeout called here. They saw to correct course. And actually, I'm seeing in game, it's going to be a timeout again, Tom, but it's T1 this time, taking the breather. Interesting call as they're in the lead, but they did let it slip a couple of times, so well, why not?
I think also just, this is where you need a cheese round. This is where you need one thing to work for your squad, and then you close out the map. This is the perfect time for the coach to come in, because realistically, if you're a round down, you take a pause, you're basically looking to fix something while you're switching into another half. Like the round you've just lost, it would be irrelevant because you're not playing that side of the map anymore. Now, you're coming in, and it has only been those attack side rounds that have been working for either side. This is what they needed to fix. One defensive round, and this game is over, and the coach earns his money.
And one of the big strengths for T1, thinking back on towards the end of regulation, at 12-10 down, they go for this all-out play of aggression towards A main, something that I think we're used to seeing from DRG on the defensive side. We're used to seeing from most teams, but it was getting Buzz into this deep spot, swinging open door, and having just this all-out brawl.
The focal point of that was Stacks. He might be bottom of the board, but the amount of supportive assists that he has had.
His haunts are unreal.
Yeah, they have been, dare I say, some of the best I've ever seen. Like, it catches someone every single round. In fact, it catches multiple people most rounds. Looking like it might be slightly different, though. You've got Izu set up outside of B. He's got that operator in hand, and they will take that control. But the second they take it, Stax is immediately back to go and support the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, the honk goes up and no utility as a response. Nobody's seen. It's now time to reinforce this C site. But it might be too late by the time he gets there. They're already teeing up for the push. DRG straight in. Meteor under pressure. He's surrounded. Stax comes in to help and finds the first. Lands another! Stax keeps delivering! And he might have delivered them the win! Nick, on a sliver of health, has to stand off against the off. And even then, even the classic can take him down. 15 to 13. T1 climb back. from what looked like defeat and claim map 1, DRG's pick.
Yeah, what an incredible start to this series. One that feels like it could go all the difference to 3, but we will have to wait and see. We'll be back with Sunset after the break.
Now that I'm a mom, things are different. Verizon's different too. They let everyone in my family choose different plans. We get what we want and we save money. Love that for me.
An update is required. Financial system updating. System updated.
We will dance together.
The future of money is here. Feels good.
Esports World Cup, where we are starting off with VALORANT.
If you want to win, you have to win against the best.
So looking for revenge.
Alpha in behind 1. There's the shorty. And Alpha goes crazy.
They've all battled through the pressure and expectation. Heretics have come back all the way!
Finally, we won. Finally.
Hey guys, Mika and Bella here with Autumn of T1. And now Autumn, this is DH's first international and he is popping off. We know back in Pacific that T1 has been preparing him for this very moment with events like T1 Homeground. But talk to us how the team, the Masters Bangkok champions, of course, have been preparing him for this very moment here on the champion stage.
오늘 경기가 DH 선수의 첫 국제전 데뷔이자 챔스 첫 경기였는데 오늘 너무 멋진 경기력을 보여주고 있습니다. 이제 방콕 마스터즈 방콕 우승자인 T1 선수들이 팀으로서 어떤 이야기를 해줬길래 이렇게 잘할 수 있었나요?
사실 팀원들이 그 친구한테 뭐라 해줄 필요가 없이 워낙 큰 무대에서 자신감 있게 할 수 있는 거를 증명했기 때문에 콜업이 된 선수여서 팀원들이 이제 하는 거는 그냥 하던 대로만 해라, 자신감 있게 해라 정도로만 하고 너무 잘하더라고요. 알아서. 네.
Well, the team didn't really have anything to tell him because DH was called up. He joined our roster because he was able to perform well, be confident on big stages like this. He was born ready. And I guess the team just said, hey, just keep doing what you've been doing because, you know, we all saw how good DH was and he really proved himself today.
Well, he better keep doing what he's doing. He is a natural. Good luck on the next map. 감사합니다.
Like I said before, when has a Korean rookie ever failed us? What a debut for DH here on the global stage. I've got Dan and Doug here with me. Once again, these numbers, Doug, this is ridiculous. And if he keeps doing these, you know, he's going to have a nice time in Paris.
Yeah, I think he's going to do quite fine. The stats are fine, and they're good, and he put up really good numbers. But what impressed me most about this kid was how often he was in clutch 1v1 situations, and he was the one winning them out. And he was winning them out against the likes of, it felt like Demon 1 every time. He was constantly in those positions, but that boy stood his ground. He was incredible for T1.
I mean, pretty much the reason why they won this map too in that overtime, when he gets 4 kills as well to secure it, they go into that second one and finally they're able to close it out with stacks. DH has been incredible. He was good towards the beginning and he was good as well to keep T1 alive in this map.
Yeah, cool, calm, and collected too from him. And it's time for our Verizon high-speed moment. And this one goes to what happened on round 8. What a fantastic retake from them. We saw so many of these as well. This wasn't an isolated incident.
No, I think there were really, really good protocols when it came to the retake situation for DRG, and I think this map does this clip does a really good job of doing it. I talked about it yesterday, I believe, not a huge fan of the Waylay, but I love the way they used the Waylay out there in order to take space, and then they swung behind it. I think so oftentimes that can be an issue. You can drop the ult, but do you have enough space? Do you boldly and do you confidently swing out to take those fights? And that's not always how it plays out. So I love the way they play that.
Especially because when you see T1 on the attack, they're very overwhelming. They'd like to take a lot of space. And if that doesn't work towards A side, as we saw multiple times in a row, they pivot very quickly towards B. So this time around, you see how it was a forced retake in a few of those rounds, but it was working out so well for the side of DSG.
Okay, so one of the things I love about international events is seeing the meta change. And this is a wild example of that. Again, not a huge Waylay fan at the beginning, but you've seen a lot of these teams double down on this Waylay flash setup. And you're seeing some of these to perfection on how they love to do it. And so the plan for DRG was either with the Neon, or with the Yoru, or with the Breach. This is a great example. You had the Yoru flash, you had the Breach flash, Ackman takes that space, pops up onto half wall, and is able to isolate those fights, and then gets out. And so as we see the meta develop in this tournament, I think we're going to see a lot more of that. What can you do to get Waylay in a really good spot to take a fight with flash, with setups, this, that, and the other, and then get the heck out of dodge? When you have a numbers advantage like that early in a round, you're set up so well to succeed.
You also see it on attack in some of the things that they were doing, trying to get that space early on towards Mount. And even if he doesn't capitalize with one of those kills, you still see how it forces a lot of that utility from the defense out to work out so well.
Yeah, I think that was the other thing I wanted to touch on. So even if it isn't necessarily a setup, but to get a kill with a Breach flash, a Yoru flash, this, that, and the other, we saw so many times Omen flashes burn because they heard somebody out there, and then TP away. All of a sudden, you've got 4 or 5 rotating back to A when you thought there was more presence C. The TP for Waylay and then setting Waylay up to take those fights has been a ton of fun to watch.
My concern is DRG, they did let that slip. You know, when they were 11, 7, 11, 8 up, they should have closed that out. And also, they only won 9 gun rounds. 9! Which is absolutely outrageous given that it went to OT. So I can't wait to see what Nathan D had to say about what happened ahead of map 2.
Guys, Mika and Vera here with Nathan D of DRG. Now, just wanted to get your thoughts on the Yoru and Waylay composition, because the team seems to have a really good understanding on it, especially on that map and especially with the retakes. Was this always the plan, especially with the recent roster adjustments?
想问一下教练，看到你们在图一是拿出了夜路加上幻冷的组合，并且看到你们的理解是非常到位的。那最近队内也有人员的变动，这一场的发挥在你们的计划之中吗？
我觉得我们今天的发挥的话，其实我是挺满意的。就是我们输掉一些可能残局上的处理，然后围垒的话也是我们可能想打得比较突然一点，给对面一点措手不及的感觉。
Actually, I'm pretty satisfied with all the players' performance today. Like for the Waylay pick, I just want to say we fixed some problems with the former Neon comps. We want to play more aggressive and maybe catch our enemy off guard.
Well, the team is looking good. Hopefully you bounce back on the next map. Thank you.
One of the other things he was sort of alluding to is that where they lost was in the late rounds. You know, he was like, I'm happy with how we performed, but in the late rounds, there was a difference maker between us and T1, and he's right. But it does get scarier on Sunset. DRG, they really need to step it up.
I do think Sunset's a fun one because both teams are 4-1. Both teams have bested the best teams in their respective regions on this map. So you've got DRG, who's able to walk away with 2 wins against Billy, and then you've got T1, who's bested RRQ on Sunset twice. So these are strengths for both teams. I'm curious about what the heck is Demon One gonna play? And do they double down, which I think they will. I mean, I'm inclined to believe they will. Do they double down on this Flash Waylay situation? I think Sunset kind of lends itself to it a little bit more, to be honest.
If it helps, Demon One has only ever played Raze and Jet on Sunset, and nothing else.
Don't think he'll be playing either of those this time.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's take a look at Agent Select now and see where we are going to go with this. It's Cypher. It is, I guess, stepping in 1-for-1 at this point.
Yeah, we had the question because it didn't really happen in that map 1, but going into this map 2 of Sunset, it's going to be Demon 1 on that Cypher, and they're going to continue playing this double duelist with that Neon and that Yoru.
Yeah, the real difference here is the fade over the Sova. I think this puts us into this conversation we've been having around Demon One on an island, on the Cypher specifically. This feels like they've just slotted him exactly into the plans that they wanted to have prior.
They've done the swap again. It's Izu, Yoru, and Buzz Neon. Do you like this?
Yeah, it's now 2 maps in a row where they seem that this is like a very intentional thing. I'm curious, is it a comfort situation? Does Izu just feel more comfortable on the Yoru? It's tough to say, really.
And also in the map 1, we saw so many great duels between Demon 1 and Meteor. Now they're in the same agent. They're both playing Cypher. They're going to that second map. I want to see more of those duels again.
I can't wait to see it. Let's jump into game and throw this back to Mitch and Tom.
Thank you, Yinsu. It's time to get into map number 2. The first was a tight affair, but T1 are leading by 1 map. And this is their choice on Sunset. Another debut for Demon One as he picks up the Cypher, sticking onto that role as we would expect.
Yeah, I like the fact that DRG have not come in and try and change everything up around him. You're the team that qualified. You're the team that made it. He's got a slot into your right. And I don't think, like, by any stretch of the imagination, he came in trying to change it either. Cypher definitely can be tougher on that hole, but at least for now, it's going to be DH continuing how he did on the last map. A fantastic individual performance. And wow, a recovery already needed in this pistol. It is a firing squad with DH leading the scoreboard already. And while Buzz is there to close it out, a pistol round for T1.
A solid start indeed for T1 as DRG trail by 1, but they were able to make the fight fairly early on in the previous. See if that'll be the case again. DH, well, he was certainly a man that drew our eye throughout the entirety of regulation over on Lotus, but in those last couple rounds, the last round of regulation, especially the first of overtime, he seemed like a one-man army.
Well, for a 19-year-old playing his first map on an international stage, and it's a Champions, that was about as good as it gets.
Yeah, especially in the late stage. Pressure was on for DRG. The pressure increases. They need 2 maps in a row. And starting out with a 1-0 loss, and Meteor's playing incredibly aggressive with the Marshall in hand.
I think he's hit 0 shots.
Yes, they were mostly through the smoke, so
Warning
I'll give him
shots.
that credit. But it certainly scared DRG away. They grabbed the orb and moved towards middle. This is all classics, nothing upgraded.
There we go.
You really don't expect to see a lot of contest. Meteor good for 2 at least. The player spotted crossing with a jump scare from Buzz. And they're losing a few, but that's a piss. Okay, now I'm getting worried. Now I'm getting really worried. And they know where DH is as well. This man's been so reliable, but an early response like this from DRG, this could really
there we go.
disrupt the rhythm. A rifle, but only 30 HP, Tom. He's got to get the jump on DH.
Will do it. That's the thing. DH has light shield, so a single bullet to the face would be enough to win the round. Now, he believes that he has baited
30 seconds left.
DH, but DH has just sat at the bottom of middle. He's waiting on this fight, and it gets a little bit scary. But that youngster is the safe pair of hands again. He's looking to try and get the rifle, and he will find it.
Yeah, that's at least a silver lining, but the same as the previous map. It's great damage from DRG. They had nothing. And a few more bullets loaded up into that Marshall, and maybe this could have been a clean round, but the fact that these classics are able to win fights like this from Ackerman straight down middle. That made that incredibly close, and you can see how tense it got on T1's side of the stage. They win it, but again, they have to invest fully.
This round. Oh, it's a singular rifle being put into the hands of Buzz. The rest really isn't much, but well, if Buzz is playing like this, maybe it won't matter. This is a terrible bonus round coming in from T1, but somehow it's working. They came in with a singular rifle, I think a stinger and a few pistols.
Yep.
And now Demon 1 has to try and save DRG from, I want to say, embarrassment.
Now, this is not a round they should be losing. But Demon 1 in a 1v3. 2 players on that angle. Spike secured as well. He's got all the info to work with now at least, but what is that going to do for him? And I love this positioning as well. Look how spread out they are. Buzz to take contact on his right, and then a big swing from Izu. He's tucked in though. He set himself up for success, Demon 1 did, but Buzz, the one to carry this round through for T1. I'm thinking before we get back into the game, okay, they've got to fully invest, right? We get in a barrier up, they've got nothing. Oh, it's an easy round. That's what you would think, but Buzz made it an uphill battle, and they came tumbling down. 3-0 start.
Again, you just talk about the supportive utility, the paranoia that came through. I think Stax is the one that, yeah, he puts that dart into the corner, and as they swap to look to the dart, that's when Buzz peaks. Like, it's just a perfect setup for that exact push. And while DRG fell into the trap, they lose to an incredibly weak bonus, and T1 have got a flying start.
This round, light shields across the board. Easy with the Outlaw.
A lot of stingers, though.
Yeah, they've got to get close. That's the real problem. Those shots don't land. The gate crash is used to get out of dodge before. That's a little too scary. Now, those stingers are nice and close. All of these fights look maybe even favorable for them. T1 have to group, take these fights together. It's Izu looking for some on his own, but around that laneway, when they come to push back in, that's where DRG really pack a punch, not just on close range, but with the numbers by their side as well. Flexen picks up a double. Spirit Z1 there as well. This could be DRG's round. A return. A MasterCard Thrifty as they put one on the board on their weaker round. That's one way to reset after a third round embarrassment.
If we could just swap the last 2 rounds over, I think we have a perfectly normal game. But no, it is just the pace they were able to get in. Obviously, Buzz was so low. That second kill was very easy, but from then onwards, it's just stellar work. Playing these close-range angles, knowing the vulnerabilities of their weaponry. And while Flexin and Spirit Z1 have now given them a round they never should have had. Balance restored, 3-1, and this is where we'll see the buy. A pretty strong one coming back up for T1 with an operator for Izu.
So far, the best rounds from DRG, where they've got 4 stingers, and the next best was when they had classics. And it wasn't a pistol round either. A very, very strange start. But this has been an unusual series, looking back at Lotus. Now rifles invested on both sides. For T1, they've taken a pretty heavy blow in the last, but a 3-0 start, especially when they didn't buy in round 3, that's going to give them enough to buy right back into this. Buzz has ultimate to work with, but I'm looking at the other side for DRG. Ackerman 1 away, but Spirit Z1 already has that dimensional drift, and on the attack side, that's probably going to be used here to clear up all this space and maybe stop Izu from having the impact with the operator. He's on the angle, waiting for his chance to strike, and there it is! The gate crash back to safety. But Spirit Z1, he's got the sight for them.
Yeah, just clearing out any risky angles will allow the rest of the team to run through clean, although saying that, Meteor's managed to find one on the cross. I think that's Demon 1 trying to jump around the edge, and instead, another solid paranoia thrown through to give Buzz A little bit more. The TP to the other side. It leaves Nick, but he's done well. He's managed to make this one look interesting. Flex implants on the other side of the map. And now has a 1 versus 2 to play with.
Well, Flexen's first half on Lotus was a disaster class. It was picked off in aim A, and it felt like in every round. But here's his chance. He certainly warmed up in the second. Now carry through that momentum to a 1 versus 2. He's got Izu and DH, 2 big players for T1. The operator swapped out. It is just the rifle, but Flexen isolates one. 10 bullets left, but time ticking. Playing inside his smoke. He can challenge as soon as it's tapped, but Izu! He expected it! Lands the shot with plenty of time. I think he's putting the gate crash through to attempt to reclaim that up, but surely it's too far.
Yeah, it's not going to get it. Even still, though, a very nice attempt for the remaining couple of players to teleport to the other side of the map. Nick being able to get a couple, and then coming down to the wire. This reaction shot was tasty from Izu. I think even he's impressed with himself. And what could have been a close clutch for DRG ends up putting them back. And a problematic scenario. Then again, you said it yourself, they did better with the Stingers.
Yeah, we're right back to it. But only 2 Stingers this time. They've still got those rifles to back them up. Demon 1 and Spirit Z1, the carriers of the heavy weaponry. And this will be, again, a round where DRG move together. And still going to be disrupted by Izu. And nasty angle in mid. That's Ackerman down. And especially in a round like this, Tom, especially with a Stinger, seeing him slide in and get up close, close that distance, gain you space, you really want your Neon for a round like this. Huge pick from Izu. And he keeps the control on mid as well. That gate crash, not even that close to fading, so he can stick around for quite a while.
They've not been able to clear him either. So he's still going to have this very fast flank, and because of that, they have a very good idea that there hasn't been a rotation. 3 players still committed to this B side of the map as they look to try and make their way through.
Oh, a missed shot by DH, though. That's given them an opportunity on DRG. When they got the plant, that's where things changed with Stingers in hand. This time it's beforehand. When Flexen goes diving into market, they've got good control, and Demon 1 lands his shot on backside. Stax might have to back off. He's sticking around. He's getting up close, and he'll get the jump on Flexen, but the correction for Demon 1 isn't there. Meteor alone, and Nick will put him in the grave. They really are better when these weaker weapons come out as second round for DRG.
I'm not sure it's they. I think it's Flexen.
Yeah,
I think Flexen's just 100%. very, very good with the Stinger. Like, he's a little bit more aggressive in the way that he plays. Like, just looks to try and get up in their face the second he has this gun. And yeah, just look, he's TPing into angles, just playing up close. And Demon 1 also having a solid round at that. Definitely some frustration, and you can understand why. They've lost 2 rounds, and both of them, the core of it, has been Stingers.
Yeah, those are the rounds that, you've already done the hard work. Then it's just about converting your advantage, doubling down on it. Aggressive play, Flexen under pressure. Stax already wrapping around, and Flexen won't escape. The wall bang to connect the pick and get a rifle. For the T1 side, it's the only one they have to work with. Look at DRG, they're walking into the spawn. They're taking a very deep fight. Meteor will contain them at least alongside Buzz. It's all about avoiding that rifle for them.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they go into A, they're actually going to plant for backside. I don't mind this, but it does mean that they're almost completely surrounded. Stax is actually going to try and utilize the Hunter's Fury, and the rest of them, while this is going on, are putting the pressure onto Spirit Z1. They keep the advantage, and Izu is now the one that's been given that rifle. It's whether or not they can retrieve the other. Doesn't seem like it. They're going to split back in the other direction, try and group up as DH still creates the illusion that there's a player here, and in the meantime, Izu goes walkabouts. Now they have the dimensional drift. They can find everyone else.
Drops the rifle over as well, picks up another as he's running around the site. Ackerman and Nick have their work cut out for them. Ackerman good for the first, and the trade out makes it possible. But Meteor's classic is what takes them across the line.
This game is weird.
Course correction from T1, but
Thrifty.
I don't know what is going to happen next here. As a MasterCard Thrifty won out by the defensive side. Continues the madness of not just this map, but this series.
So yeah, you've got the first 2 rounds, then you've got T1 winning a round that was 1 rifle, pistols, and a stinger.
Yep.
Then you've got the opposing side winning a round with almost all stingers.
Yep.
Then a normal-ish round. And then, well, actually, no, it was an 8 HP clutch. Never mind, wasn't that normal. Then you have another stinger round, and then you have this round. It's weird. And, well, T1, I'm sure Autumn is kind of got to retract his slamming on the table, because now they've ended up in, I guess, an even better spot. But they're up against stingers again, so who the hell knows?
Well, we've seen it with 4. We've seen it with 2.
These are warning shots. He's spraying the stinger. He's like, now they know I'm coming.
Well, they certainly do. All that utility fired through, but Spirit C1 the first of all flexing again. But Stack steps up. A 3 versus 2 that they find themselves in. The TP to backside for early control, and it might not even be needed. Demon 1 all alone. Last time, he had a pretty hefty disadvantage, but this 1v3, a Guardian in hand. And a good idea of where this player is. He is checking this left corner. TH needs to be quick on the trigger, and he will be shut down. The spike, though, is not in a good position. With no cage left to cover the cross, that off could... What? A jump shot with the Guardian. That's one hell of an attempt. Now he knows that that op is on the other side, but hitting this shot will be difficult. Uses the cam to bait him out, and he's done so successfully, but he can't land the shot, and the stun sends him running back. The classic round the corner. That's a risky play. They've given Demon 1 a chance, and he may land this shot, but it's 1 bullet in the mag. Not enough as Buzz lands his, and 6-2 on the board. Again, though, anything but a normal round.
Yeah, I feel like they fully believed he was hit by that stun. That's the only reason I can think of that Izu would run around that corner with a classic, but it just feels like at times T1 want to make this as uncomfortable for them, and I'm guessing their fans at home as possible, because that was way too close. Who's Greg?
Pal's here? I think it might be that he's cracked. I'll tell you that. 6-2. The lead for T1.
Well, they find it funny.
They've been slamming desks in the coaching booth.
I need sort of like that side by side. Like just like Autumn slamming the desk and then cut to DX or DH just laughing his head off.
Yeah.
Like it's just the parallel of the coaching staff versus in the server, and I can definitely understand why, because although they are winning in some of the weirdest ways I've ever seen.
Without a doubt. A 4-round lead, but with the way this game has gone, it could be swinging either way. For DRG, though, this is a disastrous start. Of course, they're on their opponent's map pick, and having been so close to closing out Lotus. A few big clutches, big rounds from DH, the man that was happy down on that stage. That's what robbed them of it. And now you start to be left in the dust as T1 run away with it despite incredibly close rounds, despite winning 2 where they had extremely light buys, essentially saving their credits for the next and somehow finding it there. But when the next came, it was defeat.
They also lost 2 in the exact same way. Yeah. So it's kind of
perfectly balanced.
In essence, yes, but in the feel of the match, no. Like, I feel like the last map was a lot closer, but not with this much insanity.
Yeah.
But hey, for T1, they're on their map choice. At times, they have been fairly dominant when it comes to the defense, but in their most recent match versus RRQ, it was the attack that they ran away with. So, scoreline alone, I think they'll be very happy with the position they find themselves in. At the same time, in their most recent victory versus BLG, it was a 10-2 defensive half for DRG. Now, saying they can recreate that, again, with how things are going so far, maybe not so likely. They're going to want at least a little bit of wiggle room.
I think the interesting thing about this, and I know you folks are getting your stage shots, but when we get back into the game, you'll see that T1 actually left in a suboptimal position.
What do you mean? They have a stinger. That's a great
They have to play with a stinger despite winning 2 rounds in a row, and I think that really tells the story of how this has gone. A streak of 2, but every round has been so damn close.
Well, what I've been told as well is that although we do currently have ourselves a technical pause, DRG are going to take a tactical pause directly after this. So This may be a slightly elongated pause for more than one reason, because I can understand why. Like the manner in which you're losing a lot of these rounds are like, I feel like a lot of control has been given over on B main. I feel like they've left a player there lurking to try and hold on to it. I don't think they've had too much success when they've gone for these more direct A hits. And other than those B hits with low buys, there hasn't been anything that's worked for them on the attack side. And that is alarm bells. Because if you get those couple of rounds, you build off it, you start getting yourself into the half, you show something with your buy rounds that you're able to sort of maybe bait players into certain fights or get certain map control, then I'm not worried for you. But when they're the only rounds you're winning, that shows that, okay, it's only these cheese rounds where you're able to get up close in someone's face and spray them down with an SMG. That probably means that this attack side is going as bad as it could be, and you've just had a little bit of luck that's helped you out. So I'm definitely nervous for DRG, because as we sort of mentioned, the importance not only of this match, but the whole tournament, of them not just trying to battle the champions, which is the goal of everybody's year, but also they still have their life on the line for just being in Tier 1. They are one of 2 teams that is the case. And you then have to consider the group that they're in. Like, okay, sure, a match versus Sentinels is a tough one, but you're going to be up against either the previous year's champions finalist or G2, who most people coming into this event put them at least top 2. Like, you're either having them or PaperX, who's probably favorites for the whole thing. So it is seeming like the loser of this match has got a tougher match in the lower bracket.
And I want to look back at the previous map. You know, DRG, they didn't win the first half. They were 7-5, but we talked about their attack side, playing with the Waylay Yoru, and how much benefit that's going to bring to them. Now, coming into this one, 6-2 down, and a chance for this to extend further for T1. Where do you see, from this point, the goalposts for DRG being? Where do they have to hit to give them a chance in half number 2?
It's difficult. We do now head into our DRG tactical timeout. As said, that was coming. The producers did not lie to me. They only do that to fans. But nonetheless, back to your point, I think that I kind of want to see them try and level this up, because sure, a 10-2 defense last time out, but versus BLG the time before, 8-4 attack, versus XOG 10-2 attack. They've proven that they're good on both sides of the map. But I just think it's going to be more difficult when your Cypher is a stand-in. Like, a lot of the time, that if you look at the way Cypher is played on this map, it is an anchor hold of the B site quite regularly. A lot of information to be found around middle and in towards B main. Well, even if just the communication is a little bit off, that means Demon 1 has to kill a whole team as they run into the site. I don't believe that he's going to be able to do that. He needs to have those supportive bits of utility to help him. So I think, if anything, the ease should be more so on that attack side, especially when you got this double duelist. Like, you need on the defense to have that push on one side and him as the hold on the other. On the attack, you can be a little bit more loose. But thus far, the loose style has meant that someone is getting caught in most rounds early, because T1 aren't just sitting back and letting you have that control.
Well, this should be the easier, as you said, Tom, for DRG to put the pieces together with the stand-in. So far, they have yet to win a rifle round, and now is their chance to right that wrong. Ackerman back to winning ways in those early fights. Paranoia sent through, but that doesn't stop them as Demon 1 picks up another, and another stacks down, but DH in the corner has a beat DH! He'll only get 2! Demon 1 saves them! Meteor left alone in a 1v3. That could have been a nail in the coffin of DRG. I don't know how that corner was left uncleared for so long, especially when the Paranoia was thrown through from that position. But they've righted the wrongs here, at least.
Yeah. I guess it just literally came down to, we've killed enough people, there could possibly be another one in the corner. And honestly, for DH, it's a nice try. Like, you look at that with so many players open and you go, maybe he should have got all of them, but he was able to at least take 2. The problem is the damage was already done, and thankfully for the rest of the players, Demon 1 was quick enough on the trigger to be able to take him down. And Flash as well. Buzz was so unbelievably blind.
Phenomenal flash from Spirit Z1. That got way too close in the cubby. You know, you can't put your head that low, too, from that position. It's far more than he should have been allowed to get. But just one more, and that's a completely different scenario we're looking at. DRG 3 rounds on the board. Their first rifle round secured, but not without its bumps. Unfortunately, we are back to attack pause, a delay in the momentum. Although, to be fair, I think a lot of these players will be happy to take a breather.
Maybe not so soon after the last one.
Yeah.
Definitely a stop-start. I don't think it's alarm bells just yet for the side of T1. I think that last round was very much just an all-out brawl, similarly to what we were seeing on Lotus on that A side of the map, just everybody diving in with their utility. And it has felt like a very 50-50 fight, whether or not Buzz is going to be able to just dominate, or in this case, where Ackerman has the supportive utility needed. A question will be if DRG can build off of this, because, yeah, if everybody fights in one spot on the map and you come out on top, it's not like a round where I'm going, you're going to be able to do this every single time. Like, if the paranoia lands a bit earlier, maybe Buzz gets a few. If the flash isn't as good as it was, maybe he doesn't go down. Like, these are rounds that are still difficult to repeat, but definitely good to see that they've at least managed to get themselves one that isn't just stingers running at people.
Yeah, absolutely. But even then, it requires Demon 1 to pick up 3 very important kills. The first 2 trades on the initial fights. The third one picking up a ball that was dropped far too quickly and without a moment of thought for DRG. Even coming straight out of that timeout, you could see there were blips. And as I said, the surprising thing to me was that TH was the one to throw that paranoia so early on. He was stood in the same spot as he was when they came to push.
Well, it seems like this one is going to be a little bit longer, as we will be swapping out a PC, but luckily we're not going to leave you bored. Before the tournament, we had, of course, to get that script meeting ready and going, so let's see how that went.
Bye guys. See you guys. Bye.
I already told you, I'm not buying your bundle.
It's Pacific. They changed the script. Let's do another round of revisions to make sure it's fully actionable on our end.
If they have our region come in second again.
What is this? I thought we had buy-in from all stakeholders for an EMEA final. Hey.
Actually, guys, I had an insane idea. Map 5, overtime, 15-14. I am 1v3 down, and like, it's really low time. I'm killing 2 and then going to spike, and then boom, take pass.
Boring. A grand final without the Americas? That's crazy. You know we bring the viewership, right?
Can we stay on track, please?
There will be no tech pause. Ignore him.
So we're gonna do the...
So,
I invited him. He needs to tell his region. EMEA is not going second against the Pacific team again.
You can lose the grand final against us instead.
Hello everyone.
Hey guys.
What's up? Hello.
Hello.
Wait, I thought we are finalizing this one in Paris.
That's boring. We've done this already in Toronto. There is nothing like a good redemption arc. EMEA deserves this.
Hey. There are more changes to the script again. But you already know my thoughts on this. Let's touch base once we are in Paris.
Hello, 大家好，抱歉我来晚了。Did we discuss which teams to get kicked out all of the Americas teams this time?
We could be Team Heritage.
We got it.
Yeah, I wish it could be a
Oh, he hates Cuba. Who doesn't hate Cuba?
Yeah, keep dreaming, guys.
肯定是我们啊，我以为到了8点我们才会决定。Okay. So let's just undo all of the changes Pacific made and start over. Once you're in Paris, it will be great. Like really great. Just trust me. I think we will work out a storyline that everyone can get behind.
Alright, everything sounds good for me. Thanks for following up.
Yeah, okay, gotta go.
Alright, cheers to the meeting, guys.
Bye.
A bientôt.
Et que serait l'IMEA sans une petite
Petite pause technique, on est à la maison et on en profite pour avoir deux fans français de T1 à mes côtés, William et Antoine. C'est un plaisir de vous avoir ici. I'm very glad to welcome two French T1 fans with me, William and Antoine. And the first question I wanted to ask you boys is, how does it feel, you know, having champs at home and seeing your favorite team here in Paris? Du coup, qu'est-ce que ça fait d'avoir les champions à la maison, de pouvoir voir votre équipe ici aux arènes?
Alors en tant que fan de Valorant et même jouer au jeu, c'est un événement incroyable et je pouvais pas ne pas y aller, c'était impossible pour moi.
J'imagine, et pour toi?
Ouais, c'est pareil. Bah franchement, regardez enfin, sur Twitch, les matchs c'est quelque chose, mais les voir en physique c'est vraiment incroyable. Le son des tirs, des smokes, de tout en fait, sur place c'est 10 fois mieux. 100 fois même. 100 fois mieux.
100 fois même, 100 times is better here than at home. You know, having the mood, the fans, you can hear the gunshots so much louder and it feels insane to have it in our own country, of course. And the second question I wanted to ask you about T1 is, who is your main character in that team? Who is going to carry, you know, the whole team? Donc c'est qui, pour toi, le personnage principal chez T1? Oh, Buzz! On est équipé, effectivement. So Buzz, obviously. Buzz. Et pour toi, du coup, Antoine, c'est qui ton joueur préféré?
Mon joueur préféré, c'est Météor. Même s'il chope pas beaucoup de kills, il chope vraiment beaucoup d'impact kill. Et vraiment, c'est un joueur qui est vraiment très fort.
So Buzz on one side, Meteor on the other one, and even though he's not top fragging, he has an insane impact, and I agree with you on that, definitely. Merci beaucoup à tous les deux. On va voir si T1 arrive à gagner. Thank you very much, both of you and everyone, and we're gonna see if T1 managed to get the win on Sunset.
Well, it's time to find out if DRG can bounce back from 6-3 down and what has been a shaky start to this map. Make it all the way to Ascend, buy us a third map, and maybe even take their first series alongside their first map win. But to do that, they've got to defeat that team on the other side who, as you can hear in the crowd, they've certainly got some fans out here. Buzz and Meteor, the Buzz chant. I like hearing that. Yeah. But I think it's a great point as well about Meteor that we heard from one of the fans that he might not be top fragging, but his impact is tangible. There's a reason the man's been voted an MVP before, and he certainly set out to try the two-time here at Champions. A long road ahead of them, though.
Although when he was MVP, I think he was top fragging a lot.
Like, a lot of people vote based on the scoreboard, Tom.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
We are all scoreboard warriors at heart. Just don't use rating. Nonetheless,
please. Gotta use cast.
We can already see launching back into the game. Hopefully, unlike in our EMEA show match, he has already got the bind done for how to defuse the spike.
Oh, you're going to bring Samuel Etienne up here in Paris? That's a bold move, Tom.
It's all right. He's probably watching the French stream.
I hope so for your sake.
They're in-house, you know. I'm sure he's chilling. But, yeah, I think obviously the extended break, not ideal for any of the players down on the stage, but the DRG, maybe a little bit of a momentum breaker, not only them winning the last round, but also just the way that the map was going, if you just joined us, was very much they were only able to win a couple with Stingers, and with the rifles they were really struggling. They did just manage to win their first. Unfortunately, we're not seeing much Gecko.
No, I was going to say, yeah, the Gecko fans have been starved for attention so far. Maybe that'll change as the tournament goes on.
It's actually just Gecko's looking for his wingman at the moment. Can't
so
go him with one of the abilities.
That's true.
He's been heavily nerfed.
But yeah, as we get back into things fairly soon, obviously, as you guys know at home, there was a PC swap needed down there. Always takes a little bit of time, but last time coming out of one of these tech pauses, we had a tactical pause. And what I like about this little break is that although we might not be touching base with the coaching staff, your IGLs have had quite a long time to think about things. And I think that will benefit more towards DRG, who have had those struggles. They just found their first buy round. They've yet to streak two together because, again, they've been doing the really tough work of winning those rounds with Stingers and then losing when they've got rifles in hand.
You're firing shots at Stacks?
No, I'm saying DRG are the ones that will need to build around this little break the most because they've had the issues. T1 are 6-3 up.
One of our,
yeah,
but they just lost their round.
Stacks, you know? Negative.
One of the most iconic players we've had. I can't believe you take shots at Stacks.
Absolutely
outrageous.
Not. I gave him a fist bump backstage. I was very gentle as well. I didn't want to hurt the wrist. You know me, the muscles.
Oh yeah. You're almost as strong as Flexen. just can't quite see it.
The clothes, they're too thick.
I'm seeing headphones going back on. I know, honestly, this whole game, like, I think we came into things with a team coming in with a stand-in, that stand-in being Demon 1, switching over to the Chinese region to try and make this work, and he has been impressive. He's had a lot of high-impact rounds. He's had a lot of moments where I think that you can see that the individual level is definitely still there, especially slotting into a role that isn't necessarily one that's his own, especially known for his more duelist / chamber play, but he's definitely looked comfortable within this squad, and obviously we're kind of having an eye on the double duelists of Ackerman and Spirit Z1 to see, especially on these last few attack rounds, what they can bring into play. The problem, though, for T1, when we do get back into the game, is that economically, they're going to be in a little bit more trouble with what they can try and deal with, as they did lose that last round and haven't really been able to keep a lot of these rounds clean.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big problems. You know, looking back at the previous map, Spirit Z1 as well, I'm waiting to see his return to form in terms of those early duels. I'm going off memory here, which I probably shouldn't. That's usually a risky game. I think he was 6-1 in opening duels, and you could feel it. Both himself and Ackerman finding so much space. And so far, it feels like they've both been having a tough time. I think in a lot of these rounds, there's been well-placed utility. You think about the slide up that Ackerman went for in the round that they won, because there was very efficient trades from Demon 1 right after. But he slid through, and there was an immediate flash from Izu, a swing from Buzz, and in terms of the utility that T1 are putting down, then you think back to stacks on those haunts and how much impact they were having on Lotus. It has felt like they have that little bit of an advantage in that aspect.
Oh, either way, it's going to be a little bit longer. So let's go back down with Lou to meet some of the DRG fans.
Et de retour pour vous jouer un mauvais tour puisque la pause n'est pas encore finie. On espère que ça va venir très vite effectivement. Et du coup, j'ai Fida et Sasso qui m'ont rejoint du côté des DRG. And I'm now pleased to welcome two DRG French fans to here in the arena, Fida and Sasso. And my first question is going to be very easy. We're in France, but you're supporting two Chinese teams. So how come is that? Have you followed, you know, their scene and stuff? Donc pourquoi en France est-ce qu'on soutient des équipes qui viennent de si loin? Est-ce que vous avez suivi un petit peu la scène chinoise, pardon, et qu'est-ce qui vous fait kiffer DRG finalement?
Alors moi, je soutiens la chaîne chinoise parce que je la regarde depuis presque plus d'un an et c'est vraiment incroyable. Il y a vraiment très peu de monde qui la regarde et Kang il l'a dit l'année dernière. Vraiment, mettez-vous sur la chaîne chinoise et c'est vraiment le bon plan à suivre. Donc moi, je conseille à tout le monde de regarder la chaîne CN sur la chaîne de Kichi.
Oh, un petit shout-out à Kitty qui est en train de caster le match d'ailleurs. So why are you following the Chinese team? I've been following them since the very beginning. There's only a few streamers who are following them. Indeed, Kitty, for instance, who's currently catching the match in the arena. So yeah, as Kang said, watch us more. Et pour toi?
Moi, en fait, ça fait 3 ans presque que je follow la ligue chinoise, notamment pour BLG, qui joue demain, du coup. Et en vrai, je suis assez hip. Je les suis depuis 3 ans et maintenant en vrai je m'intéresse, je regarde tous les matchs, la plupart des matchs de la VCTCN et voilà.
Ok, très cool. So yeah, I've been following them for 3 years as well and I'm also rooting for BLG who are going to be playing tomorrow also. So yeah, we should definitely watch a bit more of VCT China. And last but not least, who's your main character? Who's going to manage to shut down T1? Qui est le meilleur joueur chez DRG? Qui est-ce que tu as envie de réussir à voir carry?
Bah moi un peu triste hein, mais c'est Vokashu. Faut vraiment nous rendre Vokashu, je suis vraiment déçu. Après je vais pas cracher sur Diamond 1, j'aime vraiment beaucoup, mais j'aurais vraiment aimé avoir Vokashu.
Yeah, so for me it's Vokashu. I wish he was there and we really want to have him here, but of course I'm very happy to see Demon 1 stepping in. Et pour toi, Fida?
Pour moi, c'est un ancien joueur de BLG, bien sûr. C'est Fléchine qui jouait chez eux l'année dernière et maintenant il est ici, donc je suis obligé de le supporter.
So former BLG player for me, Flexin of course, and now I'm supporting him in DRG. And let's see who's going to be able to carry this match between T1 and DRG on the Chinese or on the Korean side. See ya.
Hello, everyone. I thought we would hop on for a bit because someone might have missed us. I missed yapping with you two for a bit. So how are we doing?
It's not like we don't yap in the green room the whole time.
don't
We're not
really
yapping
talk to
on
you,
camera.
so-
That's true.
Yeah,
You don't
I
speak very much at all.
traditionally not a yapper. Yeah, very
Right.
quiet.
Everyone believes that.
Keeps my opinion to myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm 6'7".
Wait, why you just dropped to like an elite Zoomer meme on me?
I don't even
Keep
know.
going.
I love that. I thought it'd be fun during a tech pause to play some games, but for now, just to give you guys an update, we have swapped out a PC. We're still encountering some client issues, but as soon as that is fixed, I will let you guys know. Have you ever played a game called Never Have I Ever? Have you played this before? This is like
I have actually.
This is like a staple of my university day, university. So the aim of the game is you're trying to say something that you have never done, but the other two people have to try and catch them off guard. Does that make sense?
Run that by me one more time.
So we're just gonna play a practice round. You guys at home play along. So the aim of the game is you want to say something that you have never done, but the people next to you have.
Isn't it the other way around?
No.
That you've done that they haven't done.
No, that's why it's called Never Have I Ever. It's not called
I don't know if I understand that, but let's run it.
So for example, never have I ever played Jet in a game of Ranked. Oh, damn it. Okay.
Wait, really?
So it works?
Yeah, so I half failed there. I only got one. I only got done. I didn't get you. I didn't catch you.
I think I got one.
I have actually never played Jet in Ranked.
I find that really hard to believe. Genuinely.
I always feel, and also, it's not for me. Yeah.
All right, can I do one real quick?
Go for it, your turn.
Never have I ever had a cheeky Nando's.
Oh! Wait, this week?
Ever. Wait, you too?
Oh, okay, we're all failing this game. I have had a cheeky Nandinos, and
Wait, is that different than a Nando's?
No, it's the same thing.
Okay.
I
don't even know. What are we talking about?
I go for hot livers with peri peri fries.
Chicken.
Yeah, it's my fave.
Not chicken, cheeky Nando's.
Elite
Oh, my
order.
bad.
While I'm there, do you know who has the most disgusting meals ever, unacceptable, eating habits? Sliggy, because he likes to eat microwave chicken and rice. And he eats that every day.
Oh, Sliggy, that's quite...
That is outrageous.
No,
that's not
I
a good
get
look
it.
for you. No, don't
I
get
get it.
And
I get it.
honestly,
Sliggy,
Dan,
I get it.
Dan, if you get it, don't admit it. Okay?
I get it.
This is not a good thing.
What do you mean?
I
That is
feel like if I
ridiculous.
explain myself,
Explain yourself.
it gets even worse. But if I would do the same thing. I used to
Voluntarily.
Yeah. Why not?
You have a dirty palate.
I mean, it's not that you can enjoy other things while also making it easy for yourself when you're at home.
Microwave.
It's like watching
That's
Valorant
an
every
insult
day.
to my culture, by the way. But yeah, you got your turn for a Never Have Ever. You got one?
No, I don't have one. I don't know.
Okay, I reckon I have another one. Okay, let me think. Oh, go on.
No, I'm thinking.
Oh, I thought you had one.
Yeah, you okayed with the little...
Yeah, you came
I'm
with
just
the
reading it. I'm sorry.
Oh, never have I ever rooted for an America's team.
I mean,
no, that's a lie.
That's not fair.
That's a lie. There's no way you have never, ever, in the 5 years of Valorant, hoped that an American team would win something.
No,
a
I
match.
feel like you have. No, I feel like
That's a load of malarkey.
I mean, if we really thought about this, actually, maybe Crew. I think maybe I kind of rooted for Crew cheekily back in the days.
Vamos.
I was really rooting for
What,
Crew.
until they beat Fnatic.
It was actually because they beat Fnatic. Yeah, I was hella rooting for them.
Let's go. Were they? Yeah, I don't know that
2021.
they count.
But I mean, if you think about it, historically, we had Gambit versus Envy. Embarrassing performance, quite honestly, from Envy in that final.
All right,
like
relax.
3-0 from Gambit.
Relax.
Was I realistically not going to root for Gambit? And then after that, we had FPX coming through. We had Fnatic coming through. All these teams coming through. So how could I root for Americas when we had all these narratives?
But I feel like you also like
Fnatic
Loud,
Loud,
Leviathan at some point. I feel like
yeah,
you like
I think actually
2022.
just not the NA teams. Like I like Lev, I like Loud,
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
Crew.
yeah. I got one that
Even Vivo Keen, any Noahs?
Yeah. Well,
That's crazy. That's
NIP,
crazy.
Yeah,
NIP,
deep.
I got you, baby.
Okay, I
Yeah?
got it, and
Yeah.
I am confident I will win this.
Okay.
I am confident I will win this. Never have I ever intentionally pulled up to listen to a Taylor Swift song.
Oh my God. That's why you
what do you mean?
self-snitching.
Intentionally?
Why are you smiling
I'm
when
so
you're saying
confused.
that?
Have you listened to Taylor Swift on purpose?
Yes.
Surely you have.
Wow.
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
Oh my god, they're gonna come for me.
Honestly, Doug, like, I'm so happy that you're not like the other girls. Like, wow.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
Pick me final boss over there.
I just dropped a...
That was great.
You
that
let
was
that
really
one go.
Great.
I
Honestly,
learned that from you, to be honest.
You are the anti-hero to some people. You say that, but there's actually a lot of Swifties in this tournament. I want to shout them out. Patman on Paper X was very excited about the prospect of Taylor Swift dropping an album while he is in Paris competing. He was tweeting about it. We have Chichu's game, like in-game name. Before
How do you find this lore? I'm so curious.
Dan, I have to stalk people for a living, you know.
Okay, great.
So Chichu's name before Chichu was Swift13, which is Taylor Swift's favorite number 13. So Chichu is a Goda Swiftie.
Okay.
We have Neil, Xenio, and Weber. Famously Swifties, and the list is so long, it's going to take me a while, but good news is the tech pause is over. You don't have to listen to us anymore, and now you have to listen to more of Mitch and Tom.
You have to.
Thank you very much, Sue. It's time to get back into the game. It's been a cruel summer down here with these tech pauses, but it looks like we'll be back into the game pretty soon. 6-3 is where we left you, and we just saw DRG win their first rifle round. If you're just tuning in now, you have missed chaos in terms of the ecos. With stingers in hand, DRG look like one of the strongest teams. With rifles, not so much. We'll see if there's going to be a change as finally we see the countdown moving towards zero. No, Tom?
Until it hits zero.
Not right now.
I'm not in until
the
it hits zero.
barriers are going to go up. Players are logged back in. PC swap successful. Client issues subsided. But T1, they have issues of their own. Economy's in the bin. And a weak bye coming through after that loss in the previous round. This should be DRG's first back-to-back round win.
Oh, wow. You said like a million jinxes back-to-back. There's all the tech pause stuff, and then you've hit us with the they should win their round.
I'm feeling good today, Tom.
Buzz has a stinger. It's been the best gun in this match so far. And after early control over A, they've immediately rotated to mid, expecting there to be some pressure put through on that side. The drone should, yep, that's going to get a little bit of extra information. Now they're going to try and pincer in on them. It's a little bit dangerous, but I like the use of the dimensional drift. Will allow the escape and also give Nick a good opportunity to try and clear them up. The Stinger still going strong.
Yeah, damage is certainly being done, but T1
Spike planted.
Not going to deny the plant. Going to lose another player into the trades in the meantime. And DRG,
Buzz has a rifle.
versus 2. Buzz has got a rifle, and last time he was in a position where he was the one we looked at, it was a 3K in A main. He dominated and gave T1 a real chance. I think that's why they converted. But now, smoked out, time ticking. No paranoia to work with. No stun. Not even a slide. Nothing to help out on this. This has got to be raw aim power. They're not looking the right way here. That's a free kill. Flexen gets caught off guard, diving in. Buzz gets one, and now it's a 1v1 with Ackerman. But just about, DRG will connect the win. 2 in a row, found at last, and both with rifles.
Yeah, it gets incredibly close towards the end. I like that Ackerman is just so quick to make sure that trade goes through, knowing that his opponent's in a little bit of trouble after being stunned up, but it does mean that everything is incredibly close in the end. But if DRG can continue this climb back, I don't think they're going to mind too much. This is, however, where we do get those guns coming back online. So Mitch, I'm going to hand this one over to you. I think you had about 17 jinxes. What do you have to say for yourself?
Honestly, it's just my bad.
Yep.
I was feeling good. I got a little too confident for a moment there, but I'm starting to regret that now. 6-4 nonetheless. I tell you what, DRG looking good. They've connected them back to back, and as I said earlier, you know, they made the best of that downtime. A corrected course.
But to be fair, they have a pretty good record after technical pauses of winning rounds, so...
Here, at least, today. I'm not sure you have the stat regionally, but...
I don't think anybody has those stats regionally.
Didn't come prepared, huh, Tom?
Maybe with an EMEA a while ago, you could say that was almost every round. So anybody who won the game just was good at winning after technical pauses, but...
KC, some of the best.
We improved.
We did, bit by bit.
We definitely
I actually
improved.
was the one that fixed it all. It was all me. But yeah, for T1, still stuck on 6, now conceding 2 in a row, and a big lead of 6-2. Starting to look like we could be even Steven at the halftime. One thing I've noticed in the break, actually, I'm not talking about the tech falls, I mean in between maps, we had Demon 1, like, I was looking down at the stage a lot, and that guy was locked in, not on his monitor, he had his head down. He was like calming the nerves, obviously doing a lot of thinking about that previous map where, as we said, he had a phenomenal showing, you know? But I think he's disappointed not to have closed out that map. And coming in here locked in, we already saw him save the day, really, for DRG in what, round number 9, the first of these 2 that they've just had, where he manages to find a 3K in opening trades, not opening duels, but his teammates go down every step of the way. He's the one bringing it back and keeping them with the advantage, or at least keeping them even. It's a very important thing to see him with confidence, especially in this role, especially after it's been almost 5 months since we've seen him on a stage, let alone the international.
The fun thing about this matchup is that if they win this, I think most people going off the next match would have G2 winning. And so then he'd get to play against Jorgamo to make it through the groups. Yeah. Like, it would be one hell of a storyline if they're able to turn this around. I say it's not looking fantastic. The last couple of rounds have definitely given us some hope, although they've been so far and few between that you can't say that there's been any sort of momentum really building.
Well, also look how close that one was from T1's perspective. They came in with next to nothing. A couple of blows dealt out by DRG, and yet they kept trading it back and forth to a 1 versus 1 in the end. And it was Ackerman who had to pull them out of it. So in a round where DRG, like, we come in going, oh, well, they should be winning this. This should be their victory. It very nearly wasn't. And for T1, that's fantastic. They're making the rounds that should be dominant for their opponent competitive. And now that they'll have rifles coming back in, now that we could see that op on Izu again, depending on how they distribute their economy, this could very much be where they hammer it home and lock in an 8-4 lead for the halftime.
Well, that will be the other issue for T1. If this goes back to 6-6, I think they'll feel gutted because it will be 2 rounds of SMGs and then sort of like a lot of close rounds that could have easily gone their way to a very, very dominant half on their own map choice. And instead, they'll now be going into what should, in theory, at least based on the most recent result, be the better half. Oh, I like this. Oh, it's just been that's just brutal, isn't it?
that's actually
fine. Okay. Is he saying no as in he's better? Let's see who's coming up as Radiant.
I can't believe they just smacked a silver on someone. I mean, that's
first
rude.
One as well.
Yeah, look, there's Ascendant. Lower.
Ah. No, you say higher. Lie. No one will ever know.
But technically, if that's what we're doing, up or down, the silver guy said low. Is he bronze? That's tough. I think he's accidentally violated himself. These things happen. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he's ready! He's ready!
I hope it comes up silver now.
That's actually fire. He's sat in the crowd with his ranked rating.
Can we get this on Doug? I want to know what rank Doug is.
I want to know Sushi. She's never played a Jet.
Radiant, obviously game. Radiant.
That's a
not boosted Radiant.
Not boosted, absolutely. She hasn't been playing.
Who could even boost it, honestly?
Oh, jeez.
No, as in like, who would do that?
I don't think he could boost Sue because she deserves the top rank.
Yeah.
I've seen her play.
Lurking on Killjoy with an Odin.
Nothing wrong with that, Tom.
Yes,
there's
many things wrong with that.
6-4 is the score, and it looks like we're ready to dive back on into the game. Sunset, 2 rounds left to play for in this half. T1 leading by 2, but they've just conceded 2 in a row. As DRG start to put rifle rounds on the board, this is where the first roadblock will be hit. T1 have full rifles. They've got the operator out on Izu as well. A turning point perhaps for the defense, who still have a chance to finish this half with the lead that they had just moments ago. A convincing 8-4 on the cards. The DRG are coming in with momentum.
Face your fear!
Immediate usage of that Nightfall, an attempted TP, and it has failed miserably. Meteor swinging out of mid is already looking to put this one to bed. Back on the rifles and back to winning ways for T1. Well, that tech pause win rate has just gone down drastically for the side of DRG. They've just been slammed.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough pill to swallow over on the DRG side. Again, they connect those 2 rifle rounds in a row, one against an eco, but the second resistance is shown. Flex and caught in the TP. They turned around just in time. And it might seem silly, but you have to think the Fatal was put through. The Nightfall was there, so that player couldn't hear him, but the Spidey senses tingled just in time as the pressure was being put on elsewhere. And then they rush in to try to convert on that distraction. But Meteor ends up disrupting it from that mid push. 1 round left to play for in the half. T1 already guaranteed a lead, but by how much? Look how aggressive Buzz is being. He has pushed them out of mid. I mean, DRG are locked into an A push, like it or not, and that's where the Hunter's Fury is tracking them down.
Demon 1 only on a pistol, the rest of the team making their way into elbow, but this early push has definitely put some doubt in their mind. The rest of T1 seemingly quite happy to almost play this retake style setup, as now the attack look to make their move.
Got you, found my wire.
Meteor, he's been a menace through the smokes, but that reveal, it's caught him off. Well played by Nick. The advantage now found and converted into a 2 by Nick. The flash they thought would be the difference maker, but DH gets caught out alone as well. Crumbling under the pressure applied by Nick. We're left into a 1v3 for Buzz. They know where he is, and they're lined up with a firing squad. 7-5 locked in at the halftime, but T1 maintained the lead.
Yeah, no, a very good recovery from DRG. It was a spot where from 6-2 up, they definitely seemed like they were going to struggle. Nonetheless, we'll be back after the break.
Let's go.
Welcome back, folks. Halftime concluded, and it's time for your Coinbase Econ report. Now, this was a bit of a crazy map so far. I know for me, but yep, there we go. Buzz was definitely the standout. Give him a rifle in an eco, and the man gave you a round win.
Yep. No, he had a stellar half. I think especially now going into the attack side, it already seemed like he was a pretty big focal point of their defense, but I only assume that that's going to be even more so going into this second half. The setup from the likes of DH and Stacks has been stellar all the way through the match, but you also have to talk about Meteor. Given that little bit of additional space to sort of get in behind, and he's always going to cause you issues. On the other side of things, a late show up from Nick also helped out massively the final round, bringing things back into contention. And well, I said it before, the last time that DRG played this map, they had a very dominant defense. We'll see if that can be recreated.
Well, they have to hope so, needing a third map here. T1 already claiming Lotus, but this is T1's pick, one they came in prepared to play. There's no doubt. Aggression early on towards mid. 4 players up close, and it's Spirit Z1, a man who had plenty of opening duels go his way. And although he finds DH, the trade is immediate. And the space, well, they're taking it right towards Ackerman. Good stun, but a player further back. Unstunned is Buzz, and he will be unwavering as they move towards this site.
Oh.
Flexen caught down to 20 and completely boxed in. Nowhere to go. And he's wrapped on, but he at least finds one.
Yeah, that could have gone a lot worse. It looked like he was going to get nothing for his troubles. Even still, though, Stax is going to spot out the first. I don't know if they've necessarily seen Nick just yet. Meteor is going for the fight, a little bit individualistic. The swing back wasn't bad, but Demon One's done well. Unaware of where Buzz currently is trying to figure out every single angle. Instead, he's being swung on, and it's Buzz once again. He is having one hell of a game, closing out the pistol as he started it. 3 in the round, and a 3-round lead now for T1.
Yeah, that pistol's just going to send them further into the lead, make this a much more difficult battle for DRG. And here's an interesting question, because they've been extremely good when it comes to the weak buys, when it comes to the stingers. At this point, it's a risk, but you could see them go in for a stinger bot. Looks like they've decided against it, though.
On defense, it's so much more of a gamble. Like on attack, you can run it down. You can maybe find 1 or 2 players on their own. On defense, you have to basically pray you run into the stack of players, which may have happened. And at least for now, they have got their stack in the right place at the right time. They don't have the weaponry to back it up, but I feel like this is very all in for the side of T1, but they are doing well to pick apart these pistols. There was definitely danger in this round, but Buzz, he's happy to run into danger head first.
And they're even clearing the backside. You know, Demon One had a chance to fly under the radar there. You think that, okay, they 4-stacked A and then left one guy to play info around mid, around B, deep camera, so they can rotate early, but no, he was there as well, and T1 won't be caught off guard by that sneaky little play. 9-5 now on the board. A big lead. We have seen the gap close in, but it took everything DRG had to offer. And again, it's been a while since we touched on it. The stakes for this team, they have to outlive XLG in this tournament, or Ascension will be calling them.
Cutting through.
Both teams having a very tough lower bracket, regardless of how results go.
Hello.
He's playing like his life's on the line, and Spirit C1's there to back him up. It's a clean round from DRG. The bounce back might continue, or might start here with a flawless.
Yeah, what a response. We've hyped up Buzz all the way through. He still sits atop the pile, but it's the same sort of stuff we saw from him in the first half. Ackerman just taking over that control, fighting tooth and nail with a teammate alongside him and just landing every single shot. Superb round from him. Puts them back on the board in clean fashion. But they're going to need a few more of those. Still 3 behind.
It's one of those things as well, just the impact of Flexen's paranoia straight down through that laneway. It's so difficult to play against. This time it comes in at a bit of an angle, and it doesn't catch the first player through. Buzz able to follow up as a result. DH and Stacks with their own kills in the A site. It's fallen just like that. DRG trying to repeat the success of the previous round, but they're not quite as all in about it. Trying to push around through elbow. The paranoia out of position, and ultimately the wall from Buzz is what stops that from being a bit more risky. Because yes, he could see, but the rest of his squad was blinded up. But no one could follow up on that from the defensive side as they were locked out. And once Buzz came swinging through, it was done.
This is the problem with those sort of A-side aggressive plays. Is like it really does feel like a coin flip. Like whoever hits their utility at the right place at the right time, whoever lands that first shot can create a domino effect. Think about it. Last round was a flawless in the favor of DRG. This, well, it's not flawless because 2 players are probably going to survive, but it's flawless for the attack who are not losing a player. It's just not a sustainable way to play the game. And because of that, T1 immediately bounced back. And sure, there's enough credits for DRG to buy into the next round, but they need to find something that will consistently work.
And they're running out of time as well. Yeah, they've got the credits here, but it's going to fade very quickly.
Good, man.
They slide through. He was even stunned up, doesn't matter. I'm blinded on the other. I mean, those are fights for the most part that you're at a major disadvantage. There's your Meteor fan in the crowd. Happy to T1 push up to double digits, 4 rounds ahead. Rifles for DRG, but this is one of their last opportunities to fight for this map, to fight for this series. And It will be Buzz and Izu, and DH falling at the hands of Spirit Z1. A coin flip that lands in their favor this time.
This is such a ridiculous way to play the game. Literally, our entire map is being decided in one corner. A main. That's where everybody lives or everybody dies. And we have now just flip a coin. Let's just get everybody on stage and we'll just flip a coin each round, and whoever gets it on heads is going to be the winner. It is absurd. I love the fact as well that we have spoken about Demon 1 being in this squad. He's the B player. Like, he's just been, for this whole game, he's like, are you winning, son? No? Okay, I'll save. Yes? Awesome. Great job, guys.
Well, one of the things you said was like, oh, when they come to push B, his communication's going to be key.
Yeah, they
well,
just
it hasn't mattered at all. They haven't come towards his side, but this time it's different. T1 don't decide to just throw themselves into the blender.
They've just walked up A with the spike.
They have. The idea here is to fake it out and look at how it's worked. DRG rotate. They push mid with 3 early, come through market to reinforce the B side, thinking that's where the hit's coming in. But now, those players stepping back in the other direction and seeing no contest around A main, T1 should be sensing that this side is much lighter defended. And in fact, it is only flexing.
Well, DRG are now pushing up. This is where they now have the information. They've cleared out B, but I think it's going to be too little too late. A TP at least from Spirit Z1. And now he's going to be able to find them that information. He now knows that this is another A hit, but it's not a stack up of players anymore. Rotation is coming in, but they can't take this risk. It's just not worth it. It's down to the spams, but nice work from Flexen. That stack's gone.
Yeah, Flexen making a different name for himself when it comes to A main on Sunset. The spike will be retrieved. However, T1, they're not looking to the side, at least not with 2 of their players. Paranoia being lined up right now, but they don't find the picks and swinging deep. Nick unblinded, able to drop DH. It's picks across the board for DRG. A response from Meteor. This could be the MVP performance. In fact, it might need to be Buzz by his side. Another for Meteor. Buzz with 1, and it's Izu alone against Demon 1 in the clutch. 3 rounds between them around DRG need, but Izu won't give it. 11 on the board. T1 a step closer to dominating this series, as close as it's been.
This is one of the first sort of like close rounds we've seen in a while, and a lot of it came down to Meteor. His target isolation was sublime every single time, not giving them an opportunity for a trade, well aware of the angles that were left missing, and gave Izu a chance, maybe in a round that they never should have had one, because the way that kicked off looked so good for the side of DRG. Well, at least in the early stages, we're right back to regular programming. Izu's looked to fight towards that A site with a multitude of DRG players ready and waiting. The rest of T1, though, they're going a different way.
Flexen definitely having a better time when it comes to A main. Demon 1, though, under heavy pressure, finds 1, but he'll go down eventually. Thunder's Fury clearing out the backside, at least the closer corners. That's going to get the Paranoia out of DH with a deep swing. Spirit Z1 falls, but Ackerman's there so quick to trade this back. The advantage stays with the defensive side. The spike trapped on the site. There shouldn't be a way for him to get out of here. The drone feeling Ackerman as Meteor creeps his way ever closer. He's got this wrap around. It's really down to Flexen's timing, and he's not clearing the angle. He's not covering it. But eventually the trade comes through, leaving Stax alone against 2.
He's known for his ability to clutch, but they're grouping up, looking to play this together. A wonderful reposition from Flexen. Didn't want to give another isolated fight, so he joins his teammate and closes that distance once more, but it has been at 3 for a very long time. They've never been able to close that gap any further. And we now wait to see if they can finally start to string rounds together.
Well, it's very much now or never. Look at this from Flexen to open up the round as well. It was a TP to cross that gap early, a haunt to base for him. He swings on the back of it. Demon 1 doing great work to find 1. Ackerman's quick trade through the smoke, but really the round's about Flexen. A main was not a place that he had very many favorable fights in the previous map, but going into this, it seems like he owns it. They'll need to keep ownership over that. Spike towards B this time, and the early pressure on A. Paranoia, primed and ready, not used. Bucky in play for Ackerman, sensing that it's going to be a winker buy and that he can get aggressive with that without too much risk of delivering a big weapon to his opponents. I like that adjustment, especially with the ult in the back pocket. Demon 1 does well to stick around and find one, and look, they can even get a plant here.
Yeah, the only thing is the rifle on Meteor. Looking to get it behind, that's the one for free. Now needs to isolate this duel onto Demon 1. This is going to be important. He wins this, and the round is genuinely on. The Paranoia, though, fantastic. It's going to force them away. Pop flash back, but again, the pressure is all on Meteor at the moment. The rest of the players still yet to claim any weapons. They're trying to give space for him, but he is being spammed out already. Meteor, he somehow manages to find another, puts it down to a 1 versus 1. DH into the clutch, running round. Just trying to get away from an opponent who's running in, and he hits him, but it's not quite enough. Meteor did so much in that round, but luckily, DRG will live to tell the tale.
A 4K, I mean, we talked about Buzz when it comes to having the rifle with the weakness, but jeez, that is ridiculous.
Did we need that slow mode?
Look at this, he steps into the wall. They thought that's going to be their fast lane to success, and instead it was very nearly their downfall. Isolating. Just one man, but he fires back so strong. DRG able to close the gap to 2 now. The rifles back out on T1, and another close round with weaknesses. It makes me worried.
Oh, faster play being attempted. Izu is going to spot a lot of players out with the shorty, and that's Nick already gone. A fantastic start, which will give them a lot of space. There is still another player here, but they're going to be revealed. Meteor's been getting so many kills that neural theft is already back online.
Izu's such a madman, but he needs to deliver more. Meteor and DH down. Here comes the ult out of Spirit Z1. A lot of information to work with. Good stun though from Buzz, and he converts the kill. Izu expecting that decoy, but Spirit Z1 delivering in every fight, and caught with a flash in hand. Meteor with a 4K in the previous. Spirit Z1 connects the same, and it's double digits now for DRG. Just 1 behind, and the economy of T1 starting to struggle.
I really like the way that T1 tried to play that. They see that Spirit Z1 is going into the ult, so they push back sight. They try and avoid him while he's giving information, take another fight, but the fact is, he was the danger in that round. He was the problem that they needed to get rid of, and individually was enough to take that one home. We said about rounds being brought together in a row. This has meant that T1 now feel the need to pull out that timeout, because from this point it's been a back and forth with them taking the pistol, the follow-up rounds as well. That gave them a pretty big advantage. If you win both pistols, win a 3rd round bonus in the first half, and then still lose the map, I'll be honest, I start to understand Autumn's frustration from earlier in the game.
Without a doubt, the timeout from T1 here to course correct. This is a tough round to do it in. As we said, the economy now taking a big hit. We should be looking at 11 to 11. It's on DRG to make that happen, but they come in with a nightfall as well. It'll be great to clear out some of these positions that you're going to be worried about with those weaker weapons, with those shorties, or even the Buckies. Buzz is pulling one out. We saw it attempted from Ackerman to little avail, but I think on the attack side, depending on your routing, somewhere you can find a lot of value. And we're right back to this A main aggression. It's going to be a very direct play with Stacks. Yeah, I was going to say, he had a Guardian. Oh, he has a Guardian again. Time's running out. Is he keeping that? He's on the other side of the map. I don't know if this is going to be in a pump fake towards A and a rotate back. We'll see. Reveal's on the way, and there might not be any going back. Flexen and Ackerman have shut them down.
Now we have seen that double duel has really started to come alive. It's another big round from Ackerman and a complete shutdown of that A site push. 4 in a row now for DRG. They left it late, but have really started to build into this one. We've spoken about the different stories on either side. T1, a team that won the first Masters, didn't make the second, and now look to come back at champions. And DRG, an Ascension team that need to do better than XLG in this tournament. Otherwise, they have to go from champions to Ascension just to stay within the league. They are fighting for that right now.
I'm out of here.
At least on the other side, it's much more of that direct take again. But there's a couple of players to deal with.
Meteor being one of them. On his way through, DRG lose Demon 1, lose those traps, and all the information. On retake, they've still got a lot to work with. Nightfall, primarily. Nick throws that through, but a TP from DH. He is behind them now. Buying time, perhaps. A thorn in their side, but Flexen quickly eliminates him. Stacks grabbing himself one, but he's fallen, and Buzz left alone, surrounded and dealt with. From a big lead in half one, 6-2 up. At the halftime, they had the lead. They won the pistol. They extended it. But T1 now trail by 1 and need another overtime, this time on their pick.
Yeah, this has honestly been a surprise. The way that the rest of this map were going, I thought the T1 had this dead to rights. A 6-2 start, half going in their favor, second pistol to give them the lead, but some real resilience being shown by DRG. They came in as the number 2 seed for China, but I think many had the expectation that once Demon 1 was added in as a substitute for Vukashu, one of their best players, that this was going to be a different story. Or maybe not just yet. Buzz, though, he still has other ideas. DH as well. Overtime, it's coming, Mitch. We're going to get it for the second map in the row, unless Demon 1 can pull off a 1v5.
Well, he certainly got his moments inscribed in the history books. You think about him standing on the stage, and hell, he might mount that on the table, I say. And he might mount it again if he wins this one. In fact, he'd be very much justified to do so. A steamrolling from T1. We saw throughout that break between the maps just how deflated he was. Losing that first. Having the opportunity to close it out, but you can't put that on him here. They are playing so patient too, and the swing from Buzz to close it, 12-12 with a flawless round. T1, they bought themselves an overtime and another chance to close this series 2-0.
It's actually crazy as well that after how many coin flip rounds we've had on the A side of the map, that they still do this again. Like, this has been just the most A-main fight-heavy half we've seen, I think, ever. It's not even like the B site isn't popular when you go across the majority of teams. In fact, these B splits normally so common on the map, but both teams so confident in that fight. I'm almost perplexed that we're seeing DRG set up outside the B site. I didn't even know this half of the map existed.
Going to change things in OT, I suppose, and a lot of it comes down to the fact that Buzz putting that wall through gives a perfect flash for Izu. Flashes the left side, Buzz is through the wall. It's a guaranteed kill if they're there, and they're almost always there because you want that early A main control. If you give it up, they have a launching point to actually exec on the site. For DRG, the site's set on B most certainly. They're locked in here.
And with how much space Izu already has, it is going to be the rotation back in the other direction. The thing is, though, the pings on the map suggest that maybe DRG expected this all along. They managed to get rid of Stacks from B main. The Prowler forced him off. That even pulled the rotation of Meteor further into position. And now they look to challenge for mid instead.
One player spotted on the left, but DH is standing patiently, paranoia in hand, waiting for that aggression to come through. Here goes the stun, the paranoia, the big swing. Demon 1, he was paranoid, and he managed to find the pick. Nick with another. DRG are not going to let this one slip without a serious fight. And Stacks can't match up to the numbers thrown at him. Izu alone.
No chance.
And he's done once he comes through this smoke. That's 13 for DRG. Another map point for this squad. And Ascend could be on the horizon.
Yeah, I like the call. Like having that early B main control, falling back, and then, yeah, as you said, it's just a couple of bullets tapped through. I think probably spotted by a teammate a little bit further back, which might have helped him out, but then it's just about this sort of raw aggression of this squad fighting together, the death ball being created. And now for T1, Is it going to be the same again? At least not early. They're also selling that same sort of ruse in towards B main. And then the steps being thrown out, but it's mid-control for DRG instead.
They're making this look like a fake, with Buzz making noise early in B main, and then just completely pausing, completely freezing. Then the decoy goes up towards A. The player's there, making some noise. That gets the push out of DRG. But it's traded. Meteor's done well, and he was ready for Ackerman as well. 4 versus 3. Now they group and push together, and guess where they push? Of course, it's A main. The pressure again put onto Flex, and he is completely isolated here.
Yeah, and it's not even like this time there's a gate crash available to get Spirit Z1 back over. He's put it on the left side towards B. So he's just going to have to walk there. But definitely doubt being put into their minds.
They've got Cypher ult.
Now Meteor potentially just going back to look for a corpse. That will give them all the information they could ever need, and this lets them know that for now the A site is completely open, although
30 seconds
Flexen is going to push right into it.
It's a great reposition, but the angle's going to be cleared anyways, and Buzz lands the shot. Flash through from Spirit Z1. Oh, but up close DH can't get the better of him. A 2 versus 1. Demon One's been in so many tough clutches, but this one winnable. But
Who's gonna look? Who's gonna look?
Looking the wrong way, backing into each other. But when he fires his shot, Demon One gives the game away. 13-13, another overtime. A game that I think a lot of people would have expected to be a bit one-sided, and it's been anything but.
But the other thing as well is just, I feel like every time that it looks like it's going to slip away, Meteor just pulls out a round out of absolutely nowhere. Like in the first map, I want to say it wasn't the Meteor that we expected to see. This map, it has been exactly that. Like it's had so many high impact moments, and yeah, that one, okay, that's about as free as it gets. Autumn is going to take a timeout once again. Like I said, it seems like he likes to use the timeouts in the half that they've been struggling on, and I like that. Coming in, they have not been able to find too much when it comes to these defensive rounds, at least so far in OT. So he's going to try and give his squad a plan. That did work for them to win 15-13 on the previous map.
DRG having a moment to talk as well. Pressure, I imagine for a lot of these players, never been this high. An OT loss before, this could be them fighting for a 2-0 in favor of DRG, and instead they're fighting for survival, just like in the grand scheme of things with XLG and the Ascension points. They need to make that deep run, and it starts here for DRG. Attack side, as the timeout subsides, the barriers soon to go up, and well, DRG thinking about A main aggression.
Who is surprised by that? The fight that has been going throughout the entirety of this one. Spam's doing quite a lot of damage onto Meteor. Stack's going walkabout. Flexen has made it into mid, but it seems like his opponent is well away. He's managed to get through, though. That's something that T1 desperately have to deal with. They're going to go hunting. Buzz is being sent to try and get rid of this man, but in the meantime, they are fighting. Dealt with one, though, and they've left Meteor to try and defend. He does well until dropped, but it's Buzz instead. A further advantage garnered. Although with him low, and Izu on an operator, there's still a good chance here for DRG.
It's the Izu off. They already have the man advantage for T1, but now they can sit and hold an angle. Any peek in that direction is almost an immediate loss. Izu's been pretty consistent with that, but now swaps over to the rifle as push comes to shove, and it's time to get aggressive. And DRG are waiting for this, though. They're looking for the fight, but Izu's the one bringing the heat. 14-13 after the timeout. T1 are now facing into map and series point. DRG, they're going to have to dig deep, even just on an emotional level with what they've been through in this game. This could be already over in their favor.
This fight was so integral. Once again, Meteor holding the line, Buzz doing so much work. They both had fantastic maps, and then even just at the end of the round, it's the movement from Buzz. I think he's definitely got one of the best movement on Neon I've ever seen. Like, the amount of bullets it takes even to kill him by that point, that's where you have to swing out from Izu. And that player has already been spamming bullets. They don't have time to correct. We spoke about how T1 like to call those pauses going into the round they've been struggling in, those defensive rounds. That's what they've done. DRG, they're calling it because otherwise they're in the lower bracket.
I think this is honestly the hardest part of the job for a coach. Yeah, 14-13, you're deep in OTs, you feel like even just the smallest adjustment on each of these maps, and it's already your series, but you could be facing a 2-0 regardless, balancing those emotions alongside the tactics.
It's also as well, when you've played 27 rounds of a game, how do you then go, I have something for round 28.
I got something new.
Yeah. It's difficult. Or to just spot something that you think can be adapted, especially when a lot of the attack side for T1 was just ramming their head into the A site.
Well, you could probably say they're going to ram their head into the A side.
That doesn't mean you'll win.
But, you know, it's something else to
flip a coin.
To have the counter, so to speak.
They're going again.
Not full committal though. This is a fake. You can see just even in the numbers, and they're drawing the numbers completely over to that side of the map, but DRG already had a gate crash in play. Spirit Z1 was ready for this. This must have been discussed by DRG. Now they've got 2 players on the site with a quick rotation from Ackerman. The numbers are here. The defenders have now fallen for the ruse, and they will go ahead in the early fights. Demon 1 and Spirit Z1, they know that DH is here. The TP crosses the trap. Early flank online for DRG with the man advantage. They just need to buy time now. Draw the eye of their opponents. That's a freebie for Flexen. DRG look to stay alive here as Meteor is shut down after 1. DH follows. And T1, they will not be taking this 15-13. This isn't map number 1. We're going further, deeper into the series for another overtime.
Yeah, I love the adaptation in this round. It was just that gate crash, allowing quick enough rotations after the initial contact. There wasn't a follow-up, and the mid-round call was perfect. Maybe that was the plan all along, but I genuinely think it was, okay, I've seen nothing, go, go, go. We need to get back to the other side of the map and fast. And T1's plan wasn't necessarily a bad one, but it was just how quick they were able to react. 14-14. Lower bracket for one of these teams versus either Heretics or G2. It's not a pretty picture, and DRG are not ready just yet to give that one up.
Oh, the shot from Izu. That Spirit Z1 down, a big part of this aggression, a big part of the opening duels that DRG have been able to win, and the reposition from Izu, it's not getting any better for the attackers. He's now ready with Buzz by his side, a deadly duo indeed, and it's Buzz with the triple! DRG decimated in this round! Only Nick standing, and that doesn't last long. Another chance to close the series out for T1.
Buzz has really been impossible to deal with throughout this map so far. I think even the steps of Izu might have just baited them into a full sense of security. Like, maybe I have an operator to face off against, and then you walk into the hands of an absolute menace. This shot as well, just so clean with it. I believe that was his 31st kill. It is. And now, well, once again, DRG are in a position where they have to find a response.
T1 again looking to fake out that presence to the A side, but it's early spotted by DRG. Trap going to catch Buzz, and he'll be put in his place by Spirit Z1 this time. Demon 1 on the line, catches another, and T1, again, they have the chance to close it, but again, it's DRG digging deep on this defensive side. Meteor, he's been the one to pull them out of these bad situations, but he has to go huge here. Even the double isn't enough, but stacks on mid. For Meteor! It's done! 16-14! T1! They've decimated DRG in a close battle, but when it matters, they stepped up to the plate.
I don't know what just happened for Spirit Z1. That looked like a free kill, and I don't know if he quick switched or something, but it's going to be the death of them. Meteor and Buzz both just having phenomenal performances, and